welcome to a very special live episode of Moonlighting the Podcast. Moonies from all over the world have come to join us to celebrate this highly acclaimed 80s TV show created by the one, the only Glenn Gordon Caron. And he'll be joining us later on during the event. And thankful to technology, we can all congregate together from all over the world to celebrate this wonderful 40-year milestone of Moonlighting. This show really did capture a generation and the current generation, and will influence a future generation as well, now that it's streaming on Hulu. I don't think Glenn himself would have thought that the fandom would have lasted this long. Anyway, there will be approximately 2 hours jam-packed full of moonlighting fun, so we hope you enjoy the couple of hours that we're going to be spending together. There's also going to be some surprise guests popping in here and there, so we'll look out for them. Now, here's a quick summary of what activities we've organised for your enjoyment. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, but not necessarily in this order. So Shauna has collated some Moonlighting fans' favourite scenes into several videos for us to watch, and other videos as well. Now, we'll also be passing the baton over to our fellow Moonies. Got two assistants today, Danielle Labou and Carolyn Gandy. Danielle, is, as we affectionately call her, is the keeper of the scripts. Most of us Moonies know that she's got every script imaginable of Moonlighting. So some of you guys have volunteered to act out a scene of your choice. So Danielle will be presenting that. So Carolyn will be introducing some Moonies who have been pre-selected to share their Moonlighting memories with us. So I can't wait to hear that. And of course, Grace has put together some trivia questions. So we'll see how you go with your trivia questions. A lot of them are season 4 and 5. So I've made them a little bit harder. Now, depending on which guests join us today, we'll have a few segments chatting with them at various times throughout the event, depending on when they pop in. We do have a schedule set out, but if Glenn all of a sudden pops in, I'll not interrupt, but after a certain segment, I'll put him in. Let's get started. Who's excited?
Oh. You're calling in need, you're calling indeed, but I cannot heed because I need to read. Call back when I'm done. I'm sure we'll have fun. Go out in the sun. This is probably a rerun.
Hi, Scott.
Well, if it isn't Deborah Frank, the Emmy winning.
No, we didn't win an Emmy.
Oh, the Golden Globe winning.
No Golden Globe.
Oh, not the
Not the People's Choice Awards.
Then why the hell am I talking to you?
I won the Writers Guild Award.
I guess that's something. I mean, I guess, it's good to hear from you, but I have to ask, why are you in black and white?
Oh, today the world is all about branding. Ever since Moonlighting started to stream, Disney asked me to live in black and white to help promote the show.
I hope that doesn't make you feel too negative.
Good one. Well, it's better than what happened to Jeff and Ron.
What happened to Jeff and Ron?
They have to speak in iambic pentameter for the rest of their life.
We hate iambic pentameter.
Thou dost protest.
Of course, nothing is worse than what happened to Roger Director.
They made him go by Roger Associate Director?
No, he has to walk around in high def. And at our age, that is cruel and unusual punishment.
Now listen, I'd love to do inside baseball Hulu jokes all day, but what's up?
You're late for the Moonlighting Podcast 40th anniversary celebration.
I'm not going.
Not going?
Not going.
Why?
Why?
Sigh. Why?
Too sad. I'm so upset that some of the music from the original series was changed on the streaming episodes.
What? Cybill doesn't sing Blue Moon in the dream sequence episode?
No, that song's still in it.
Oh, well then who cares? Besides, there are podcasts, books, Facebook groups, and I heard that Curtis Armstrong is just about to solve the Ansamo case.
You're right. Maybe it's not too late.
Too late for what?
To sing a production number.
Hit it!
Stop.
What? Glenn Gordon Caron, creator of Moonlighting? What?
We don't have the rights to that song. You can't use that song. We're just gonna have to get something else.
Another song? What song would be better to open the show with than that?
So come on the night, come fly by day. Something is sweeter, 'cause we met along the way. Moonlighting strangers who just met on the way. Who just met on the way.
Hello, everybody. I'm Grace.
And I'm Shauna.
Welcome to
Moonlighting's 40th
anniversary event.
Start the show?
Start the show.
Well, first up, we have Moonlighting Memories. And first up is Virginia Andanova, who's going to talk about her moonlighting memories. So welcome, Virginia.
Let me unmute. Do you hear me?
We can.
Oh,
Welcome.
good. Hi. Jesus. Okay, it's 2 a.m. here. Bear with me. I'm sleepy. So I started watching Moonlighting. I was about 6 or 7 because I'm born on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain, and we didn't get like the capitalistic television up until like 89, 90. And I must have been around 6 or 7 when I started watching it with my mom. And my mom was a unfortunate person. She had a very sad life, and she was very sad in general. And then one night something magical happened, and I heard her laughing. And I walked into the room, and she was watching this show. And I said, "What are you watching?" And she says, "Moonlighting." I'm like, "Who's that?" And that's Bruce Willis, that's Cybill Shepherd, and they're amazing, and ha ha ha. So I started watching with her, and it just clicked with me that this is what I want to do. To be this person like Bruce and Cybill, to make people forget about their problems. It was amazing, and to this day is something that I strive to do. Like I absorbed both their personalities somehow. I formed my own around theirs, and I did the weird thing. I was the weird kid, the theater kid, and my classmates weren't allowed to stay late at night to watch it, so I would just reenact the whole episode for them. It was like my thing. So that was fun, and I still do it to this day. And then the videos came, and I met Shauna and all of you wonderful people, and it's been amazing. So that's the short of it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. Yeah, I love your story. That is amazing. I love that it has such a great connection to your mother, and you know, the humor and the nostalgia and wonderful feelings will always live on through the show. You know, the connection that you have. And you make beautiful fan videos. And I learned from you. I saw yours, and it's inspired me. So yeah, that's just
yeah.
yeah, like we always say in this community, everybody has their creative talents or their way of celebrating the show or keeping it with them. And so I really appreciate you as part of the community, and I love your story. And yeah, I just really wanted people to hear your story. Yeah, so thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it.
Anyone out there in costume? I had a couple costumes, and Carolyn's there as I have a Father David costume, sort of. Carolyn's there.
Hola, gringos and gringettes.
As
I have a yellow napkin hat on, if any, from, the big
you have a
musical.
yellow napkin hat.
Yeah.
I'm wearing
I also have-
wearing a Maddie dress.
Yes, yay!
Yeah.
Nice. I'm wearing purple, which some of you know I hate, but a purple collared neck shirt, my Maddie shirt.
Lovely.
Yes. Pastels. Always pastels.
Yeah, it has to
Anyone
be
else?
pastel.
Anyone else have
I'm wearing my shirts. This is an embroidery shirts I made myself from Maddie.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, I love that.
So I made myself embroidery, so it's really cute. So it's the day.
Oh, it's
I'm just
fabulous.
rocking the t-shirt.
Rusty, yes. Rusty.
I have my
Got a t-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't costume up, but I'm wearing the t-shirt at least today.
Yes, fabulous.
I love it.
Great. Thanks, Rusty.
I have my sweatshirt on.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that one. That's great. I love that black and white image.
Yes.
Is anybody
my
else in
Ray-Bans.
costume?
Just my Ray-Bans and blue for Blue Moon.
Yes. Love it. Kara.
Love it. Love
I have
it.
my sweatshirt on too, and my Maddie Hayes.
Oh,
Maddie Hayes. That's great.
Oh, that's fabulous. I've got the same t-shirt on today.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I was supposed to be Maddie from Blonde on Blonde. It didn't work out because I couldn't find a white. I'm not a white person. I don't really wear white. So I couldn't find a white coat that she wears. So I've decided I'm Cowboy Maddie today. I've got Maddie and David on my chest here. My little badge.
Little
I love the hat.
So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
great.
Hi everyone.
Yep. Sorry, who's that?
Oh, sorry. I'm so disappointed that my costume is stuck in my parents' mailbox. My parents now have a lock on their mailbox, and I had something delivered, and I don't know where the key is. My stepmother is not home. I am a little disappointed that I could not access my costume, but if she gets home, I will make a quick change.
Okay.
No, that's great, Jason. Doesn't matter. As long as you're here, that's the main thing, to celebrate Moonlighting's 40th anniversary.
That's right. Thank you.
I
And
got
Lisa.
my sweatshirt, my Moonlighting sweatshirt, Blue Moon sweatshirt.
Fabulous. That
Do you wanna
I've
ask them a
just
trivia question?
noticed we've got a few special guests here.
Okay.
Jeff and Ron, do you want to unmute yourselves? I'm sure I saw Jeff and Ron.
I think I am unmuted. Okay, there I am.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for
Hi.
joining us. This is
Our
so
pleasure.
great.
Thanks for asking us.
You two are two of our favorite people.
Just two of your favorite?
Two of, yes. There's
All
many others, but you guys are great.
I guess I'll have to share this with Jeff, but okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Ron. Sorry.
Did anyone else have a VP like Roger
I did message Roger and Alan. Oops. And I think
I saw Melissa.
I saw Melissa too. Where is she?
Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
Let me add. Okay, there's Melissa. Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining.
Hi.
And by the
Hi
way,
there.
guys, I invited and I sent the link to Elaine Highland. She was the writer's assistant coming in, I think, midway through the back nine on the second season. And it stayed, I think, pretty much the whole time, even after we left. So she may be able to drop in with some writer's assistant stories. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, thanks for that, Ron.
Yeah, I just did it this morning, realizing that she was part and parcel of the whole experience as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Glenn will be here soon. Cybill will be here soon as well. So yeah, we've got cast 1,000. So this is great. We're loving this. So what do you think? It's 40 years. What do you think about that? Time has flown. What's going
Pretty
on?
amazing. Hey, I just want to say real quick, you guys are amazing. I just love. I was looking at all the shirts and costumes and hats, and it's pretty cool. It's just amazing that you guys are still following and loving the show that much. Really, really great.
No, thank you. We like to keep the flame alive. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
And yeah, that really does speak to the great writing and everyone's hard work, all the post-production from writing to lighting. As when Cybill is on, we said with Cybill, from writing to lighting, everyone was just worked so hard and put so much into the show, and we very much appreciate it. And that's why we keep it alive to this day. I mean, it stood the test of time, that's for sure. 40 years later.
Imagine if he had been on schedule, what a great show it would have been.
Imagine how many more episodes we could have had.
We could have had 20 more shows to watch. Yeah.
Exactly. We made all. We didn't make first season. The order of 22. We made only 18. Yeah, 18 out of 22. Next was 15.
That's
then
right.
The week after that was probably going to be about the same, but the writer's strike happened, and that was 13.
It might have been 13. 18 was the most we ever did.
18 was the most. Yeah. Yeah. Season 4 was 14, and then season 5 was 13. Yeah. Yeah. So Melissa, thank you for joining us too.
Oh, you're welcome. This
So
was my
wonderful
first
having
time.
you
Yeah,
here.
Cheryl sent me the link and told me about it. I was totally unaware of this. So glad I could do this.
Oh, I'm so
Nice to see you. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
I saw Cheryl Main come in. No.
Oh, did you? Oh, I can't.
I think she
And
might have
maybe
been because she had texted me, and I think her schedule was a little in flux, and I think she had to be downtown.
Okay.
So I'm not sure
no
if she'll be
problem.
on.
Yeah. And okay. That's all
Another
right.
court appearance for Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still fighting those charges, huh?
Question for Melissa. I'm sorry. Quick question. Were you touched at all by the fires?
We were we were on alert and we lost power because sometimes we get lumped in with the city of Topanga, but this time we didn't, but we were close, but we were very lucky. You guys were okay, right?
I'm in Hawaii.
Oh, did not know that.
I evacuated actually. I was about 2 blocks south of the San Vicente border where it was mandatory evacuation. I was in a warning zone, but I took off for the first couple nights just in case.
Yeah, we've been evacuated before because we live right off of Topanga Canyon and Mulholland.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
So, and I mean,
man.
Topanga, you can't
Oh,
go
man,
down
I didn't know you
Topanga
were up
anymore to
there.
PCH.
Oh, that's awful. Oh man, that's a bad area.
Anyway, that all worked out.
Yeah.
What countries are everyone from? I know you're in Melbourne, and Shara's in
Shanghai.
Singapore.
I'm in Shanghai. I work in Shanghai. Yes, but I'm from California. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Grace is in Melbourne, and yeah, like Virginia, who just talked is in Bulgaria. Where else are people from? Yeah,
Virginia, I'm sorry I missed your story. I heard everyone talk about how great a story it was. I'm sorry I didn't get on in time for it.
Oh, you'll be able to watch the
That's no
recording.
problem.
Yeah. Let's see.
Anyone from anywhere? Anyone from Europe?
yeah.
Anyone from-
France. Okay, they're putting it in the chat. Ireland, France,
Wow.
Belgium, SoCal, Brazil,
God, did they ever put subtitles?
London, New Jersey.
Do they subtitle those shows? That must have been a nightmare.
I think so. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
you know what
trying
I
to
heard is
translate?
someone who lives in another country told me that the same actor does Bruce Willis' voice for every show and movie that shows in their country. So when Bruce retired, the voice actor had to retire because so no matter what, movie or show, that was the voice actor for Bruce in that country. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, really. Boy. Hey, by the way, I see a chat here from Jennifer Patterson that says, "Thank you so much for doing us, Jeff and Ron." And I just want to say I don't remember that, Jennifer.
Well, that was our Zima and glue phase.
Yeah. That's the money that you're welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a very David Addison kind of comment there.
I was 11, so that would have been really icky.
Well, you didn't know us back then, you know.
Well, thank you for bringing this down to the gutter, Jeff. Yeah, I should be reading these things. Well, that's the only one that nails us. Okay, good.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay, so that's fabulous.
Thanks, all you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy you both were able to make the time to join us. We've still got more fun and frolic planned for the rest of the next couple of hours. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks for asking us, you guys.
Yeah. Scott Ryan.
Hello.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
How are you guys?
Dandy.
Great.
I wore Billy Joel for Big Man on Mulberry Street.
Fantastic.
That's my costume.
Lovely.
Love it.
For-
Perfect.
For all of you who possibly don't know, but I'm sure everybody knows, Scott Ryan is the author of Moonlighting, an Oral History. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm holding it up. Great book. If you don't have it, you get that book. Get it. And he's the best publisher in the world who published our book.
World?
In the world.
Oh, thank
who published
you,
our book,
whoever held it
Moonlighting
up.
an
Thank you,
Episode
Jen.
Guide.
Yes. Thank you, Scott.
So
Thank you. Well, you guys, your book is spectacular. The Moonlighting Podcast episode guide, it outsells my book every month. So thank you for that.
I love it.
I think I'm going to have to read all of these things because you guys know more about the show than we do.
I know.
Yep.
Well, you were drunk, so that's different.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, listen,
Yeah,
Scott, thank you so much for making that video. That was just hilarious. And you got Deborah Frank in it. And yeah, it was so good. And obviously Glenn too at the end. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was crazy because I forgot about this. And then I was on a plane and I wrote it. And then when I landed, I asked Deborah, would you be in it? And she said, let me see the writing. And so she punched it up. So I got to write something with one of my writing heroes. And it only worked if we had Glenn do the ending. And so I texted him and Glenn did it too. So, I mean, that was incredible.
Scott, I've got to see this. That's amazing. I haven't seen Glenn in so long now.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you guys.
That'd be great.
Thanks. That'd be great.
But it was a great honor, and it wouldn't have happened if you guys didn't do this. I actually got to write with my heroes. So thank you for that.
Our pleasure. Yeah, amazing.
I mean, I guess it's nice to see Jeff and Ron too. Whatever.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
You should get out and work, but yeah, okay.
Hey, Maddie.
David.
Maddie.
David. David.
Maddie. Maddie.
David. David.
Maddie.
David.
Yo. Maddie.
David.
Yo, Maddie.
David.
Yo, Maddie.
David. David. We're not taking this case. We're not taking this case.
Does that mean you're not going to help me take this case?
What case? There is no case.
You trying to tell me you don't want to take this case?
What case?
I'm going to hang around here for a while and work on the case.
But there is no case.
I'm taking this case.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
You are not.
Yes, I am. But we're not taking this case. What did you say?
I said we're not taking this case.
You can't say that. I said that.
So?
So that means we agree.
We agree.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Fine.
Fine.
Good.
Good.
Fine. Just fine. Fine.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Fine time was had by all. No. It's a fine time.
Good.
Good.
Fine.
Fine.
Good.
Good. Fine.
Fine. As long as you're happy.
I'm happy.
Fine.
End of conversation.
Fine.
Fine. You don't want to talk about it? That's fine.
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 Good.
Good. Fine.
Fine.
Good.
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 Fine.
Fine. Okay, fine.
Fine.
Are we having fine yet?
No.
Good. That's good.
Fine.
Fine.
Good.
Good.
So, Ola Gringos and Gringettes, I would like to introduce to talk about his moonlighting memories, Rusty Olson.
I had a surgery yesterday, so that's why I'm rocking the neck brace, but I'm glad I can talk. They said I might not be able to talk today, so I'm glad I can maybe talk, and it's just so cool. I'm all whacked out on painkillers right now too, so this is really fun.
You've got a very lunar eclipse look about you.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna try to. I should have gotten the full body cast to be Curtis. This is so fun. I can't believe 40 years ago started watching this show. And then everyone that worked on the show, thanks for making that television magic. So 40 years ago, March 3rd, the pilot aired. I didn't see that, but I did watch Gunfight that following Tuesday. And I think maybe I heard about the show on the radio or something, or maybe someone at school said, they watched it and it was really good. So I watched Gunfight and was hooked ever since. Huge fan. You had to know what happened on Tuesday night so you could talk about it in school on Wednesday. So if you didn't watch it live, you better have videotaped it and watched it before you went to school. I was a junior in high school when Moonlighting started. And then so my senior year was season 2. And Jeff and Ron, my favorite episode is Knowing Her. And I still use lines from that show, that episode, 40 years later in real life, like, good to see you. It's good to be seen. Thank you guys for that, because I've been using it for 40 years now.
Thanks a lot, Rusty. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys wrote my favorite episode, so I'm forever grateful to you too. So I caught the pilot the next summer, and then I went to college the next year. So season 3, I was my freshman year of college, and this was 1987. Not everyone had a TV and a VCR in their dorm room. I watched some of the first episodes that season, like in our dorm lounge TV, but people were talking and stuff. It was hard. But one friend on my hall had a TV, so I started watching Moonlighting in his room, and we became roommates the second semester. And so it was fun. I had a rule: when we're watching Moonlighting, no talking during the show. You want to talk, ask questions, do it during the commercial, and everyone adhered to it. So I was the Moonlighting guy. Everyone knew Tuesday nights I would be in Rick's room, or when it was Rick in my room, watching Moonlighting. But of course, we all know, in spring of 1987, the shows weren't airing every week. It was brutal. So I would tune in, and if it was a rerun, I would probably go do something else. Or if it was a rerun of a show or an episode I really liked, I might hang out and watch it. But there was, we would go 2-3 weeks, sometimes longer, between episodes. Then we had the Rona Barrett into the Agnes and Bird episode. And then the Mark Harmon started with the Blonde on Blonde. I love that episode, but these shows were still kind of 2 or 3 weeks apart. And it's hard when you're freshman in college to make sure you're in the same place Tuesday night. So I think there was 4 weeks before I Am Curious, Maddie. So I was, every Tuesday I was, go, it's a rerun. Next week, it's a rerun. Next week, it's a rerun. So the next week when I Am Curious, Maddie aired, I did not watch. I was hanging out with a friend in another dorm, and I'm walking back later that night to my dorm room, and my roommate Rick is outside the door. He's like, dude, did you watch Moonlighting? I said, was it a rerun again? He goes, no, it was a new episode. I'm like, oh my God, I missed what I missed. He goes, They did it. I'm like, what? I shouldn't have shaken my head like that.
Be
They
careful.
did it. I'm like, oh my God. So I Am Curious Maddie. I missed Maddie and Dave hooking up for the first time on the show. And I'd watched every episode leading up to that. I was the huge fan, and it's my shame that I missed watching I Am Curious Maddie live. Yeah. But I did get to watch it that summer. And then, the next episode after that, they had the nature scenes because they were in bed together. And I was just like, oh my God, I sure did miss it. But thanks again for Grace and Shauna. The podcast is fun. I usually would do an annual rewatch of Moonlighting with the DVDs. And I think I discovered your podcast, right? I think I was kind of just starting season 2 then. So it was kind of fun to watch the episode and listen to the podcast until I caught up to you guys doing live ones again. So thanks for keeping the show alive, everyone. 40 years, and it's so much fun on Facebook and just talking Moonlighting. And I'm so grateful for all of you all.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thanks, Rusty. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Rusty.
much.
Great.
Thanks, Rusty. You're a great member of our community. You always keep in touch with everybody. You're great. And I love your story. I just love, because you actually did a live and told that story. And I was almost in tears. I'm like, no, you missed it. What?
Yeah. I still turned out okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. But you would have had to wait a while before you could watch it.
Yeah, I think it aired that was like late March '87, so it aired sometime during that summer. Yeah, and I did catch it on a rerun.
Oh my God, Lindsay, did you see the end of Moonlighting tonight? I am totally freaking out to the max.
Oh my God, same.
I can't believe David actually showed up at Maddie's door to profess his love. It's just so romantic. I am spazzing.
I know, but Mark Harmon answered the door. I mean, why? Who invited Mark Harmon onto the show? Ugh.
Well, he is the sexiest man alive, according to People magazine.
Yeah, but not sexier than Bruce Willis. He needs to go back to St. Elsewhere and stay in his lane.
You know, Maddie and David would have totally done it if he hadn't answered that door.
Yeah, but what if Maddie did do it with Mark Harmon? I'm totally gagging myself with a spoon right now.
Well, just because...
But I guess, though, that just because he answered the door doesn't mean they hooked up, right?
Please. That's just what Brad said to Kara when she went to Mandy's house and Brad answered.
Brad who?
So Kara, in our math class, her boyfriend is Brad, that cute volleyball player. He was at Mandy's house, and when Kara went over, Brad answered. Kara was mega freaking out.
Oh my God, Brad's a dweeb, and he hooks up with everybody.
That's what I'm saying. This random guy is answering Maddie's door with his shirt unbuttoned. I mean, what do you think they were doing in there?
Well, if Maddie and Mark Harmon hooked up, it's David's fault. When Maddie said she wanted to find some guy for the night, David should have stepped up.
Oh my God, yes. He's always making jokes, but it's like, dude, stop pretending you're not into her.
Right, he's scared.
And Maddie's mental, and she's the one who's supposed to have her life together.
Yeah, but does she? I feel like she's really good at looking good on the outside, but she's like a major disaster on the inside. I mean, that's really a thing. I saw this whole discussion about it on Donahue. Oh, hold on. I got to go flip my REO Speedwagon tape and open my tab.
You know what the perfect REO Speedwagon song is to describe Maddie and David? It's I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. It totally describes what's up with the two of them.
Oh, for sure. You know what we should do? We should totally make a Maddie and David mixtape.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. But you know what? Maddie and David, they need to make each other a mixtape. I mean, clearly they have no communication skills with each other.
I mean, that's the thing. If they would just sit down and talk it out, maybe then they'd realize all they really want to do is screw each other.
Or kill each other.
Whatever, it's the same thing. It's like how I feel about Steve. I mean, I love him, but like most of the time I want to kill him.
I totally get that.
Yeah, right? And if Maddie's slightly demented, David's got issues too. He's like that guy who messes everything up because he can't let his guard down. But then she does the same thing.
Well, David better get his shit together if he doesn't want Mark Harmon riding off to St. Eligius Hospital with Maddie.
Wait, what's St. Eligius?
The hospital on St. Elsewhere? Maddie's trying to be this, mysterious and independent woman. But deep down, she's just trying to wait and let David figure it all out.
Yeah, men are so dense. I mean, you want them to be like, get on with it already. But you know what? That's what makes moonlighting so addictive. It's like this mix of like Cheers and like Dallas all wrapped up into a detective show. And I just want them to stop playing games and like get horizontal already, right?
Right. I totally feel the same way. But they're just going to drag it out with all of that tension. I'll be so mad if they don't hook up soon.
Oh, same, totally. But I mean, it's totally worth the wait. But hey, you know what? I got this idea. How about next week we have this big watch party at my house? We can like get Jiffy Pop and Fanta.
Oh my God, Lindsay, that would be so totally awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm counting down the days. Okay, I'll talk to you later, okay?
Talk to you later.
Bye. Then I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for.
Applause! Excellent.
Hi, everybody.
Loved
Yeah,
it.
that was great. Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle. That was Carolyn and I. We did that. That was really funny. I had never, I had seen it, but with everybody else, it's a different vibe. So hi, everybody. I'm going to introduce another scene, though. We keep it going with Laurel and Josh. But first, I just wanted to say it's so cool to see everybody here and enjoying this. And this show has meant so much to me since I was 12 years old. I'm in my yellow napkin head. I just wanted to say that. And so thank you, everybody, for existing, and the people who are like me who are fans still in the fandom, because it's awesome. And I'm loving this night so much. So thanks. Okay, but I'm here to introduce another scene from our fandom, and it's Laurel and Josh. And they're going to do this is what I'm told, an amazing rendition of the bed in the wall scene from Next Stop Murder, the season 1 episode. I'm sure everybody knows it. So I will have them take it away.
Hi, Laurel. Hi, Josh.
Bye. All right.
Okay. Go,
Hi,
guys.
Josh. Okay. Gotta admit, pretty plush. Hey, the whole damn train goes condo within a year.
Addison.
All right. I'm just gonna look around a little bit. Pretty classy, personal head, elegant button.
What are you doing?
I wanna see how these work.
Why?
It's there.
Isn't that a line from Mountains and 3-Minute Miles?
I'm gonna tell you something.
Miracle of miracles.
Remember the big blackout of 1965? Whole East Coast blacked out for a night? I never told anyone this, but I caused that.
Why aren't I surprised?
There you go.
Now, can you hear me?
Can we, yeah, let's let Cybill break in here. Okay.
Yeah, Cybill's breaking in.
Hi, Cybill.
Hi,
How
Cybill.
y'all doing? Looking pretty good for 75.
You look gorgeous as usual.
Thank you. It's gorgeous to be gorgeous.
Well, thank you for joining us for the 40th anniversary of Moonlighting. What do you think about that?
I think it's incredible that we're all here together still.
It's wonderful.
I love moonlighting. Moonlighting was a great thing. I didn't have to even do a part of I didn't have to audition for it. I just talked to them and they wrote the part for me. And then Bruce Willis had to do a screen test, and I didn't have to be in the screen test. I was afraid if they saw me in the screen test, they wouldn't want me.
Oh, how could that be possible? That wouldn't happen.
I don't think it would happen, but I just thought about it, and I thought maybe I should just let Bruce go ahead and do it by himself.
No, that we needed the two of you together, Cybill. You guys were amazing together, and you made the show so great.
We had chemistry. We had chemistry together.
That's right. It was all about the chemistry.
Chemistry is between actors. It's not something you can actually act. It has to be between the actors, is my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like we said before, Cybill, from the writing to the lighting, the writers put such great words in your mouth. The post-production did their job, and you and Bruce did your job, and the chemistry between you was just amazing. So it all came together like lightning in a bottle, as we say.
It was lightning in a bottle is exactly right. Yes, ma'am. I'm very grateful for it. I'm grateful for it now, and I miss Bruce. I love him. I always love him.
Absolutely.
I'm just
great.
looking in the chat box, Cybill. Everybody's saying hello. Hi, Sib. You look gorgeous. You look amazing. Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure at 75.
You don't look, you don't look 75. There's no way. There's actually no way.
I love you saying that.
They love you so much. Hello, Cybill. Cybill, you are my hero.
Thank you for my outfit. My best friend gave me this scarf as a Christmas, as a birthday gift, and so I couldn't help but wear it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Nice, yes. Lisa says, happy belated birthday, Cybill.
Thank you. February 18th,
Oh, yeah.
I turned
Happy birthday.
75.
It's amazing. And
it's amazing to be 75.
You're still performing, which is amazing as well. And you're performing in April at Catalina Jazz Club.
At Catalina Jazz Club.
Lots of people in this chat are.
I know. I'm so excited to be performing.
Lots of people here already. Yeah,
I got dogs in the background.
Singing is one of your big passions.
Yeah, singing has always been my big passion. I started singing in the church choir when I was about 7 or 8 years old.
What is your biggest passion, Cybill? Is it music?
Music is my biggest passion.
Okay.
Music and dogs and great people and lesbians and LGBTQ communities all over the world.
Yeah, love it. Yes, all inclusive.
All inclusive.
I'm just.
My sister was lesbian. My older sister.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, she was beautiful too.
Oh, I bet. Yes, the genetics in the Shepherd family were strong.
They were very strong.
Yeah,
we don't have my sister with us anymore, but
you
I
have
do
beautiful
have my
kids.
little brother, and I have 2 grandchildren, and I have one on the way.
Oh, you have one on the way. That's fabulous.
One on the way. Yes, Ariel has one that she's going to have a baby.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
I know, I'm so thrilled.
Ariel and her wife.
Ariel and her wife. That's correct.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's amazing. That's congratulations, Cybill. So much to celebrate.
You. I have so much to celebrate. That's right.
We have some questions.
Yes, ask me anything you want.
Absolutely.
I just thought I'd say this.
Okay, Jason.
Sorry, Shauna. Jennifer's said, oh my God, this is incredible. Cybill, it is so great to see you. You look wonderful. My teenage daughter just walked by my computer and knew exactly who you are.
Oh my God, I still look like me. That's amazing to look like me still.
That's wonderful. Yes.
You do.
All right, Shauna, you go ahead.
So yeah, Jason is asking about your stylists and hairdresser friends from the Moonlighting days. Can you tell us anything? Do you remember anything about hair?
Hair and makeup was great on Moonlighting. Everything was great on Moonlighting. Bruce Willis was great on Moonlighting. I went to his, he had a big celebration. What was it called? I have it right over there. It's I
Was
don't
it the
see it
roast?
anymore. Yeah, I saw
The
the
roast?
roast. I went to his roast. It was great. It was a great honor to be able to roast him.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was so funny.
Yeah, it was really fun. I loved it.
Yeah. And that was the last time you saw Bruce, right?
That's the last time I saw Bruce was at his roast.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank Shauna and Grace for Moonlighting the podcast. Yeah, this painting in the back behind me was painted on wood by Peter Bogdanovich's father.
Oh, really?
That's gorgeous. Wow.
Yes, it's a gorgeous painting. I love it. It has a horse in it. I love horses. It has books. I love books. It has flowers. I love flowers. It has a mirror. I love a mirror. And it has a goddess.
Oh, so he's very
So
talented.
I like everything in it. I think I paid
yeah.
$10,000 for it. It's painted on wood.
That's gorgeous. That's a
And then
bargain.
Peter gave me 3 more paintings of his father's as a gift. And I painted my house. All the colors in my house, all the walls are painted based on the paintings done on wood by Peter's father, Borislav Bogdanovich. Or
Oh,
maybe
wow.
you'd say Bogdanovich.
Oh,
Borislav Bogdanovich.
yes. We've got someone else in here. Glenn is here. I'm going to add Glenn.
Oh, wonderful. Where's
here with you.
Glenn?
Glenn's here, Cybill, and
Hey, Glenn.
Hey,
Well,
Sib,
Glenn,
how are you?
I'm doing fine. Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Likewise,
I'm
likewise.
75 now. Do you believe that?
Nah, come on.
Okay, that was the right answer. I hope you're coming to see me at Catalina Jazz.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to make it to that one, but we'll make it to the one. I know there's going to be one after. So
There's 2 nights, so you can come one of the 2 nights. If you can come, that's great. If not, I'll still love you till the day I die.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You were fantastic at the one up in Bel Air that we saw. So
Yeah, that was fun to do.
anybody
sold
that's
out.
contemplating going, it's a fun evening. I've seen it and it's pretty terrific. So
Yeah, I have a good time.
we had a good time too. Hi everybody. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We're just happy to see you. I'm just happy to have a chance to say thank you again for moonlighting.
Oh no, thank you for moonlighting.
No, thank you.
We'll do this for about an hour.
Okay.
No, thank you for moonlighting.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll accept it. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for the last picture show, and thank you for the Heartbreak Kid, and thank you
the
for
Heartbreak Kid.
Driver and
Taxi driver. Oh, I forgot. Yes, I've been very lucky.
No, you've
I've
been
been
very
very
talented.
lucky, but I'm pretty smart and talented for an old broad.
What did
For
I
a
miss?
grandmother. Grandma. I'm a grandma now.
Amazing. We've had a big show so far, Glenn. People have put in people have told their stories, their connection to moonlighting, since they watched it over the years. We've had a couple of sketches and things like that. And thank you for your contribution to Scott Ryan's sketch with Deborah Frank. That was really funny.
That was all Scott and Deborah.
And we're just okay.
I wish I'd seen it.
We're watching the show. Yeah, we're just walking down memory lane in a lot of ways. And yeah, we'd like to hear your thoughts on 40 years of moonlighting.
40 years of moonlighting. I was very fortunate. I knew to do it. I wouldn't have let anything stop me from doing moonlighting. I would have been in that. Bruce Willis did a screen test, but I guess I was afraid to be in it. I was afraid they'd see me and decide they didn't want me in it.
That was exactly what you said to me.
Yes.
That was exactly what you said to me. You said, I came to you and said, you got to do this screen test with Bruce or he's not going to get the job and they're going to pay us and they're not going to let us make the show. They're just going to pay us off and we're all going to go away. And you said, oh, Glenn, don't make me do that because if you see me do this on film, you'll take the job away from me. And I laughed. And I said, no, we won't. You were just absolutely convinced. Absolutely.
I was convinced because I knew Bruce was so good.
Well, you didn't know that, but
I knew it because the minute I met him, my temperature went up 10 degrees in the room.
I
So I had
remember
chemistry with him.
Yeah, I suspect that's true. But here's the thing. I'm going to let you know a secret. It all worked out.
It all worked out. That's right.
So,
That's right. It worked out. Moonlighting was great.
well, people seem to still be enjoying it. So, knock wood.
And well, they should. And how lucky are we that they're still enjoying it?
Yeah, we are. We're very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. And very grateful to Disney for they put up a lot of money to restore the show. So I know
Oh,
some
how
people
wonderful. I didn't know I had to thank Disney. Now I thank Disney.
I know a lot of people are miffed that it's not 100% the integrity of the music. You know, some of the choices aren't the same as when it was broadcast, and Lord knows we tried to make them exactly the same. But the truth is, you cannot compel someone to sell you the rights to their song, and you also can't compel them to pay you what you think it's worth if it's not your money. And in this case, it wasn't my money; it was Disney's money. So I think we're at about somewhere between the high 80s and low 90% in terms of the music that's in the show. There were a couple of heartbreakers for me that we couldn't get, but the good news is you can now watch the show in a sort of pristine condition visually and orally. It's now in stereo. A lot of other enhancements happened. I apologize to anyone who was wildly disappointed that we weren't able to get 100% of the music, but that was never going to happen because there was the Rolling Stones. There's just so many artists that were never going to license their music to us for a price that would work in our budget, But the people who at Disney,
I bet they regret it now.
I don't know. The important thing was the people at Disney who really spearheaded the restoration really loved the show and cared about it and were trying to be as true to it as they could. And even the music people, were the same music people who worked for Marvel, I don't know if you remember the first time you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, which has amazing music. These are the same people, and they tried like hell,
really?
to get us exactly what was in there, and they did the best they could. We also had a timeline.
I think they did a great job.
They did do a great job. That unfortunately it all happened, or the vast majority of it happened during the strike. So
wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to actually go in there and put hands on without crossing a picket line, and I couldn't do that. So there,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing what you did.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure. I'd been lobbying for 5 years to get the show remastered and hopefully on Hulu. That was our hope, and it worked out. But I know that's been a source of great controversy and funny intros to podcasts. So I thought I would throw that out there and talk about the music. But anyway, hi everybody. Where's Grace? I don't see Grace.
I'm here. Hello.
Hi, Grace.
Glenn, I want to read a couple of messages. People are putting things in the chat, so I just want to say a few things. Glenn, you look fantastic. Glenn, you made the best TV show in the world. Glenn is the master.
No.
The master.
All these people need to get out more.
Hey, Glenn. Thanks for creating this amazing show that's changed all of our lives.
Oh, ridiculous.
No, it's true. It changed my life.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything going on, so it didn't really change, my life. But
yes, it did.
Anyway, everybody is thanking both of you for being here. So it's just wonderful for the fans to actually see you almost in person.
And we're pretty close to in person right now. I'm having my one martini a day that I have. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I know Cybill was talking about him, and let me reference him too. I know if he could be here, he would be here, and that's of course Bruce. Frankly, what made the show work, whatever you may think made the show work, what made the show work was the alchemy between Cybill and Bruce.
I agree.
I know Bruce would want me to thank you part of the reason that I was working for those 5 years to get the show restored was because whenever Bruce and I would talk, he would lament the fact that people couldn't see the show in a decent condition. You know, there were bad copies on YouTube. People had their old DVD sets, but we hadn't put out DVDs of the shows for over 15 years. So I know he'd want to be a part of this.
I think he's here in spirit.
Yes, I think you're quite right. And it meant a lot to him too to be able to show the shows to his little girls. You know, his older children had seen it, but his younger children hadn't. And I know it was a big deal in his house when we finally premiered to sit everybody down and say, hey, this is what Dad did, you know, a long time ago. This was sort of the first thing he ever did that, you know, made him who he is today, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I know he'd want to thank everybody. And I think especially, you know, Grace and Shauna, who've kept the flame alive all this time. You know, so thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you all. I have an album that I think you can buy, but I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can come hear me do it. It's Somewhere Down the Road.
Somewhere Down the Road.
It's Cybill Shepherd,
album, yes.
Somewhere Down the Road. Yes, it's a great album. I'll be performing at Catalina Jazz Club on Sunset Boulevard coming up soon. I hope you'll be there, Glenn.
Yeah, April 8th.
I'm going to try, but I don't think I'm
April
going to be able to make
18th
it this
and
one
19th.
time.
Okay, thank you.
One of the fans have asked, Cybill, they love your voice and they want you to release another album.
Come see me live.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoever said that, come and see him.
Here,
Come and see her live. I've got to
in
book
Hollywood,
my flight.
April 18th and 19th. Yeah. And
So, but just to put a fine point on it, it's called the Catalina Jazz Club. It's on Sunset Boulevard. I know the bookings in April. I don't remember the exact dates. But
It's the 18th and 19th.
right.
Oh, an airplane's going overhead, a police helicopter checking on me to make sure I'm safe.
And again, I don't know who's listening or where or watching, and I don't know where they are necessarily. But if you're in the California area, this is something you want to see. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Yes, it's a great show. I worked really hard on it. At 75, it's really gives me a lot of pride to be able to do a live show still.
Yeah, it should.
It should. It gives me a lot of pride.
Well,
and I love you, Glenn.
Well, you'll get over that.
Got a great love fest going on.
I'll never get over it.
Where's Scott Ryan?
All
Where's
right.
that guy?
Actually, I was just going to say, Glenn, Scott's here, Jeff and Ron are here, and Melissa Gelineau.
Oh my God, Melissa Gelineau.
Did I say goodbye?
Jeff and Ron? Did you just say Jeff and Ron?
yes, Jeff and Ron are here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Hi,
gonna have
Jeff.
to say
and Ron.
goodbye here.
Sybil's saying goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm saying goodbye, but I love you very much. Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
Sybil.
Bye, everybody.
Love you, Cybill. Thank you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Hi, Glenn.
Bye. It's Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hi,
Haven't seen
Glenn.
you forever, man. How you doing?
Doing okay. You look great. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Glenn, how you
What's going on?
doing?
Good, good. You look great.
Thank you. So do you.
And Scott Ryan, do you guys know who Scott Ryan is, right?
Sure,
Scott
sure.
wrote
We
the
talked
book.
a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he wrote the book about moonlighting, and then he put out a book that Grace and Shauna did, and then he put out a cookbook because that's integral to the show. And then today, just in the mail, I got a telephone book, that he put out.
But you're
the
not
most
mentioning the
shameless
typewriter.
goddamn guy you've ever met. He will.
I
And
miss
a
you, Sid,
typewriter, the moonlighting refrigerator. We've got it all.
Yep. And how about
I'm
that
gonna live the rest of my
magnet
life
set
off
you're
what
telling me
Glenn
about?
created.
Yes. Where's Ron?
No, it looks like he's popped off.
Oh.
Ron, he's there, but to spotlight him, he has to start his video, but he said he would start it in a
Okay.
minute.
Oh, the video. I have no idea what it means.
Oh, Ron, video? Then I can put you on the spotlight.
What does that
No, you
mean?
want to be in the
Scott
spotlight.
told us about the thing at the beginning with that you and Deborah did with him, but I wasn't here in time to see it. I want to see it if I can.
Oh,
I emailed it to you, Jeff.
Scott and Deborah did it. Honestly, all I did was hold up my iPhone, and it took me about 35 seconds to do the thing they asked me to do. I was really a fairly minor player in it all. Hey, there's Ron. Okay. Nice to see you, man.
What, did you go get those sunglasses? What the fuck?
Sun's on me now. I'm in Hawaii,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Wow, how weird is this?
This is
How
so
great is
wonderful to
this?
have you all together again. I'm so glad that we've been able to get you all together online. Wish we could do it in person, but maybe another time we will. But it's just so great that we can catch up for the 40th anniversary.
Not to make anybody feel awkward or uncomfortable. Did anybody reach out to Roger or Chick or
Yes. Yes.
and
We
are
did.
they going to join, or can they join, or
No response. I reached out to Roger and Alan Arkish,
right?
but no response. So yeah.
And
Everybody else has responded, and they're here. Yay!
We reached out to anybody that we had contact for. Dennis Dugan was going to come on. Maybe he still will. Cheryl Main.
Is Deborah coming
yeah,
back, or did she just do the thing at the beginning?
No, she just did the video.
Okay.
Yeah, can't make it. Can't make it.
Hey, by
Hey,
the way,
Ricky.
Glenn,
Actually,
something you should mention. I didn't feel that.
Shall we play that video? Why don't I play that video again?
Oh, you don't have to play
Sorry,
it again.
Ron's trying to say
I
something.
sent it to them.
I was just gonna
Sorry,
say,
Ron.
Talking about the chemistry between Bruce and Cybill, and you might want to tell them the story about how it almost wasn't Bruce.
You mean? I just want to make sure I get the right story.
There's a few.
You referencing the 11 times that I brought him to ABC, or?
No, the Rick Dean story.
Oh, no, that was only, a lot's been made out of that. But the truth is, when I was pitching the show, I needed an archetype to tell ABC about, so they could imagine sort of what I was trying to sell. And I certainly didn't know who Bruce Willis was. The only idea I had was Rick Dees. And so they took that idea and actually approached Rick Dees. And I may have even taken a meeting with him, and he turned us down. So you're right. It probably, there's a certain world in which it might have been Rick Dees. And we probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
But the good news is it was Bruce, and I'm always aware, and Cybill even brought it up, that she wouldn't screen test with him. How many times we could have not had Bruce, for a whole bunch of reasons, and frankly, ABC at a certain point said to me, "We're just going to pay everybody off, everybody go home, because Bill Murray has a movie career, so we're never going to be able to cast this." But again, because I don't know if you guys were off or listening, but not whatever. But I know Bruce would very much want to be a part of this if he could today. So anywho.
And do you think Rick Dees could have made Hudson Hawk?
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
I love Hudson Hawk, so that's not a put down.
I need to see Hudson Hawk again, because I actually spent a lot of time working with Michael Lehman, who I apologized to for. You guys were involved a little with Hudson Hawk, right? At one point in the writing, right?
We wrote the first draft. Yeah, we wrote a draft with Bruce while he was doing Die Hard. I mean, we would go and visit and talk to him about it. And
right.
I think during that fourth season, I think we were sort of working on that at the same time. And he loved it for a second, and then something I think Die Hard came out, and he had sort of gotten close to Joel Silver, who is a producer of action films for you guys. And Silver came in and tossed our script, and went to a couple people he knew, Steve D'Souza, and
The guys from Die Hard and from those, yeah.
Right. So they started messing around with it, and eventually I think Daniel Waters got it, and yeah, lots of funny stuff in it. Ours wasn't as comedic. They sort of went in another direction. Silver didn't want to do what we had, so they went somewhere else with it. And I'm not sure the movie worked so well, but there's a lot of funny stuff.
I hope I'm not telling tales out of school. So obviously Bruce and I are really close, and we're really close. I went to the premiere with my wife at the time, and the movie didn't play well. There's no shocker there, but back then, they'd have a premiere, they'd have a big party afterward, and usually the party was in a different place than the premiere. And I remember we got to Wilshire Boulevard, and I made a left, and my wife said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going home." And she said, "No, we have to go to the party." I said, "I can't go to the party. I cannot walk into that party." I just, because the movie just did not work for me at that moment. Sometimes that happens. And I wasn't alone. It didn't play well that night. So she convinced me that we had to go to the party. We went to the party. I walked in the door. You walk in the door, and there was Bruce and Joel Silver and John Travolta. And so I walked in, and Bruce looked at me like that, and there was John Travolta. And I had never met John Travolta. And Bruce said, "Glenn, you know my friend John?" And I said, "Well, I know him because I saw Saturday Night Fever like 7 times, and I saw Grease 11 times." And I started going through the whole retinue. And this was the moment in Travolta's career where he was making movies that went straight to DVD or VCR, I think. I mean, videotape. But he was comporting himself as if he was the biggest star in Hollywood still. And there was something extraordinarily admirable about it. I just found it bewitching. So anyway, and I couldn't help myself anyway. I was a blithering idiot. I said, "I love you and Blowout and blah, blah, blah." And then I would stop and I say, "I'm sorry, I'm making a fool of me." She said, "No, that's okay. You can keep going." I mean, he enjoyed and then at a point, he threw his arm around Bruce and he said, "Did you like our movie? The movie we did together?" And I'm drawing a blank. I mean, I'm looking at Bruce like, and nothing. And finally, after 30 seconds, he went, "Look who's talking." Bruce walked into a booth for a day and made a couple of $1 million. And that was his movie with John Travolta. But so many people, there have been so many revisionist pieces written about Hudson Hawk that, and as I say, I ended up working with the director who worked with Daniel Waters on a great movie that sort of established him.
Heathers.
And Heathers is really, and I apologized to Michael, who was the director of that movie, because I went and saw Heathers and it blew my head off. I thought it was an amazing movie. And I called Bruce and I said, "I saw this amazing movie. You got to see this movie, man." Blah, blah, blah. Heathers. And he went and he saw it. And then he decided, I got to get the guy who did Heathers. He got the guy who did Heathers. And basically, it didn't turn out well. Didn't turn out well for the guy. And so I apologized, and he laughed, and we actually did Tyrant together in the Middle East for FX. But I need to see the movie again because I've read a bunch of revisionist pieces about it that say, "Hey, this is a much better movie than it was given credit for." And I've had that experience a bunch of times in my life where I've seen a movie and thought, "Not for me," and then revisited it, 8, 9, 10 years later, 20 years later even, and it's gone, "Oh my goodness. How did I not get there. And I've had the opposite too. Movies that I've adored, I've seen, years later. I'm sure you've all had the same experience, and you've gone, not as great as I remembered it being. Anyway, I'm going to shut up.
I'd like to throw out a name and for you guys to talk about Jay Daniel. We haven't mentioned.
Oh, what a great name!
Yeah,
I'd like
we
to hear
invited
all of
Jay.
you say something about
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we invited Jay.
We invited him.
Yeah, we couldn't get him here today as well. Curtis,
Oh, I wish
Elise.
I had known. I would have campaigned. I was talking
know.
about it 2 weeks ago, and I would have bullied him in coming here or something.
Melissa was his assistant. Why don't you talk about him a little bit?
I was, and then I was his exec, and my first producer credit was thanks to Jay. And I still see Jay probably at least once a month. We have
Wow.
dinner, my husband and
Great.
Jay's wife, so we see him all the time.
How is your
He's
husband?
a little under the weather. He's
Oh,
he's had some health issues recently, so
I'm sorry.
but he's
Sorry.
okay. He's doing okay.
I got you.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, I just spoke to Vicky like last week. So hopefully I'll be seeing them soon. But no, he was an amazing boss, as was Glenn. I started off as Glenn's assistant, and I'm actually the person who typed the Moonlighting pilot, all 150 plus pages, many, many times, because Glenn did not believe in cut and pasting, and it was pre-computers. So on a Selectric.
Wow.
Go, Melissa. What a legend.
Thank you.
It's
Support
like
free technology.
And it's like, you couldn't easily correct mistakes. So then you'd have to start over. It's like,
You know you're old when you're trying to explain to someone.
oh, that's true.
No, see, and then they would type it and we take it to Mimeo, and they go,
Yeah.
"What's Mimeo?" And you explain that they would actually print this thing on paper, and then people would get on bicycles and in cars and go all around town and drop them off on people's porches, and or they'd go to Ron's house or Jeff's house and pick up pages and do. I mean, it's just it sounds so ancient,
Yeah, there were it was the position, the night PA, and they worked all night delivering it to all the cast, all the producers, all the network execs. Everyone got, and every day they would get the revisions. So it was every day.
But let's talk about Jay Daniel for a minute.
Yes. What would
Yes.
Because Jay Daniel was a miracle worker. I've since worked with a lot of great producers, but Jay was extraordinary because, as anyone who's here who worked on the show can tell you, prescience was not my gift. I couldn't look down the road and say, and here's what we'll be doing 3 weeks from now. 3 hours was about the depth of vision that I had. And Jay was the person who was tasked with making these things that Ron and Jeff and Roger and Chick and Ali and just the stuff we'd come up with, he'd make it real or do his damnedest to try and make it real. I literally remember a day where he came in and said, "I don't know what we're doing today." And I said, "I know there's a pie fight in it." And, because that was the sum of what we had sort of landed on. I said, I know I think it's going to be in a hotel. And he did it. He did it. And I don't know how he did it. When Ron and Jeff came up with Atomic Shakespeare, it was Jay who was completely undaunted. He just said, "We'll make it work." And I don't know, what do we have, 5 units going simultaneously? This Elizabethan town, the BMW horse, the church, doing a musical in the church. I mean, it's crazy.
My memory, Glenn, is that Jay actually directed quite a few days separately from Will McKenzie, was the director on the show. Jay directed a whole other unit because we had to have both going at the same time. It was, which I think was a pretty unique situation back then.
I think if memory serves me correctly, I think we literally had to finish it in 2 weeks, so 10 days. And that's why it's like literally we had so many units going. And I was with Jay the whole time, whichever set we were on when he was doing that. But to what you said, Glenn, I think Jay is just calm. Nothing rattles him ever. And that carried through. And that's truthfully, I think one of the reasons he got offered Roseanne was because he always remained calm and could deal with anything. And I remember he would, what you said, he would always go into you and try to figure, okay, do you think this scene there will be stunts? Because they had to figure out what wardrobe needed to be doubled and tripled if it was going to be a stunt. But he would just ask you, what do you think is going to happen? Should this day be a stunt? Which I think he was brilliant at, in being able to like turn on. It's like, okay, let's move this way. And I think that's carried in the numerous shows that I ultimately worked on with him. That's what he was great at.
I think
he never lost his cool.
He asked him one time if he could trash the BMW when that Cybill leaves, and because this car just represented them, and thinking it's never going to happen. He goes, yeah, sure, we can put a BMW shell on a Chevy. That was it.
I tell you, when you talk about Jay, it reminds me how serendipitous the collection of people. I mean, even, again, Ron and Jeff, Chick Egley, there was no grand design. Somebody would give me something to read and I'd say, oh, I like this. I'd like to meet these people. And you'd meet them and you think, I want to be in a room with these people. And we were so lucky. There was my recollection is virtually no turnover. People didn't leave. We all sensed that we were lucky to have found each other. And that extended on the production side too. Certainly Jay and I coming to know each other and working together was really a marriage made by Bob Butler. Bob and Jay and I made 3 pilots together, and then all of a sudden there was Jerry Finnegan. I said his name right? It's Jerry Finnegan.
Finneman.
Jerry Finneman. And the art department, and it just honestly was an extraordinarily serendipitous thing that all these people happened to come together. Not the least of which Bruce and Cybill, but not the least of which Elise Beasley, who went to the same high school as I did. How crazy is that? And I remember Curtis Armstrong coming in to read and me just going, no, yeah, you don't have to read. It's yours. You want it? It's yours. Because you just go, this guy's made me laugh in movie theaters for the last 3 years. I mean, he's just, and he was, and in his own way, Dennis Dugan. I know that the audience wasn't crazy about the way I used him or the thoughts I had about moving, but there was a reason he was there. And the reason he was there was he was going to be an important director for a certain number of those shows, It was a great group of people. I still watch the end of that Christmas episode and I see that collective of 200 people, and I get emotional, Some of them I used to be married to. I mean, it's just, we were very, very lucky. Someone has to stop me from talking so other people can talk.
Well, Glenn, I've got a few questions here from the fans. Okay, this is from Anna. Seeing the incredible outpouring of love for Moonlighting from fans all over the world, even 4 decades later, would you consider giving the fans the one thing they've wanted most for all these years? Your own final chapter, an alternative ending for Maddie and David. We would settle for anything just to have your vision of how this story truly ends.
Well, I don't think my vision's all that special, but I'm not going to answer your question because I'm not sure I can deliver, but it's on my mind quite a bit. Boy, was that a terrible answer.
I'd just like to say, Glenn, I do run a publishing company that publishes moonlighting books, so a novel.
Well, that's another question from another moonlighting fan. They said, Cybill, Glenn, they're requesting that you write a moonlighting book. That would be great. We'd love a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Thanks.
It's very flattering, but it's also it's very flattering, and I'm very grateful. But again, the thing you'll pick up the one thing I hope you pick up when you watch the podcast is that Moonlighting was very much a communal effort. It's very much. I did this movie with Michael Keaton. It was the first movie I ever directed, and he was great. It was a great experience. But very early on, I confessed to him that because I'd been fed all these horror stories. Oh, you're going to direct this movie, and by the fifth day, your feet are going to hurt, and you're not going to. The crew's going to hate you, and all this shit. And pardon my language. And about an hour and a half after I got there, I thought, this is where I belong. I love this, and I got along with Michael. He's still a friend, but I was shocked by how comfortable I was. And he said to me, yeah, don't you love this? And I said, yeah, I do. I'm not sure I know why, though. I'm not sure I understand. He said, I'll tell you why. He said, because it's 200 people going, and what he meant was, it really does take 200 people. It takes people to think of an idea. It takes people to help flesh out that idea. It takes actors to act it. It takes artists to design the sets. It takes business people to fund it. It's just, there's something really cool. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but again, I look at that Christmas episode and I go, look at this little village we put together to make this thing.
Yeah.
And Bruce would say to me, how long are we going to do this? I said, oh, they're only going to let us do it until it's not good anymore. and then the other thing I would say to him is, if our kids are, I can't believe I'm saying this aloud. If our kids are getting high to this when they're in college, I will feel as if we succeeded.
You succeeded.
I just.
Glenn,
But that's 200 people is my point. So the idea of sitting down and writing a novel seems antithetical to, it's like, it's a little like being in a rock and roll band and then singing by yourself. So I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But I do think about where are they now a lot in my head. And before Bruce became ill, I actually had a notion in my head. I'm always looking, is there a way to do something that maybe isn't done very much or hasn't been done at all? And the one thing I thought that they could do that nobody else could do is, since we did sort of young, reckless love, passion, all that, what's that like in your 60s? What's that, but, and I would talk to Bruce about it every so often. And, but then, obviously, we only control what we can control. So that never came to be. But I have other ideas about it too. But that isn't to say any of them will actually come to any fruition.
But Glenn, let me ask a question. And to Jeff and Ron, Jeff just slipped out for a minute, but to Jeff and Ron, when we had you on the podcast before, Glenn, you did say that you saw them ending up together, which I think is one big question that fans have. And then Jeff and Ron, you guys said that you had a lot of ideas of things to do with Maddie and David that didn't involve a baby, because it went that way because Cybill got pregnant. So if Cybill hadn't gotten pregnant, what direction were you going to take this relationship? Because it was headed in that direction before you knew she was pregnant anyway. So anyway, can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Well, it was only 40 years ago, so the memories are fresh in my mind. Ron, Jeff,
help
I
me!
remember we wanted to do an episode. One thing we wanted to do, and I don't know if we ever talked to you about it. We ended up doing it on another series we did for Long Scene. We wanted to do an episode all black and just hear the voices and do sound like radio. We wanted to do a radio. But that was whatever the show was at that point. It wasn't dependent upon where the relationship was going. But that,
I think.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think, you know, what we might have talked to you about a little bit, Shauna and Grace, is sort of the general. We wanted to do something in the dark. We had talked about that a little bit, but I think it was sort of a response to everybody thinking that getting them together was the reason the show failed. And our answer was always, that just isn't the case. I think there were plenty of ideas and plenty of places we could have gone with it. After that, I think, what was really the case, and I won't rehash the whole thing, but essentially we were doing this romantic comedy where the two leads weren't in the same city, where they weren't in the same room together. And so you can't, it just wasn't the same that fourth season. You just can't quite do the same level of show. And that's really what started it sliding. And it really wasn't, none of us thought that it was about the fact that we got them together. We thought we could have gone on and done a lot of great things with them after that, and in terms of individual ideas, I remember a couple, but it was mostly a response to that. It was just that's kind of the easy answer to why the show kind of wasn't the same anymore. And then, I'll just throw in the fact that Glenn and Ron and I weren't there fifth season. So, that might have had something to do with it, but too. Anyway, but that's just a little self-aggrandizing part of it.
Absolutely.
Who's a great... I mean, you said it. You said it perfectly. You can't make an Abbott and Costello movie and, okay, now we're going to do an Abbott scene. Do you like that? Okay. Oh, cut to Costello. Now we're going to do a Costello. They tune in to see them together. And the hardest part of those seasons where they weren't together was figuring out the logistics of how to make a show. Let alone now let's come up with an outrageously creative, evocative idea to wrap around it. And, I made some nutty choices, some badly thought out choices. Part of it was, I'll tell you a story. Bruce Willis came in and knocked me out. And we were very lucky we were able to get him the role. And then we were really lucky he was actually as good as we thought he was, in many ways better. And but the only other person who ever came close technically, and we auditioned 3,000 men. I didn't, but I mean the company auditioned 3,000 men. Dennis Dugan came in and gave a spectacular reading, technically. I mean, he was spectacular, but you couldn't put him next to Cybill Shepherd and expect an audience to buy it. Dennis was not a romantic figure. There was nothing about him that evoked that sort of feeling. But I always remembered it and thought, I got to find a way to work this guy into the show. So when I came up with Walter, whatever his name was, one of the great wrong turns in television history, that didn't help. But the seed of it was, again, how do you keep a show going that's about two people being together when they're never together? You just can't get them together. And none of us could have foreseen that, unfortunately. And it was a problem maybe beyond our grasp at that point. I'm sorry, Ron, I cut you off, I think.
Claymation was our kind of half-baked answer to that, just one scene.
Yeah.
That was the impetus for that idea, is just to find some way to make them feel like they were in the room together.
Yeah.
But also, my memory is it was not only that they weren't in scenes together. We shot Cybill's stuff, probably 2-3 months before we shot Bruce's, and so we had to get some stuff ready. Scenes that we were kind of, and some of them were phone calls, between the two of them. So we had to get a lot of stuff ready very quickly for her to shoot, and then Bruce shot it later, and it was a bit of a mess that summer, I think.
We shot a whole arc to their story. To Cybill back in Chicago. She had her own story, and we didn't even know what episodes those scenes were going to go into.
Right.
Yeah.
We had to pepper them judiciously to keep, the pairing alive.
It was just a confluence of things. And at the same time, because you need to throw it into the stew, Bruce was becoming an international movie star. So there were all these other things that were pulling on him and possibilities and things. Cybill was trying to reconcile, she was either pregnant or in the process of raising, infant twins, in a new marriage. There was just a lot of stuff going on. And I won't lie, I think we were all, those first 3 years, by the way, greatest job ever in the history of the world. So if any of this sounds like a complaint, it's just bad delivery on my part. But an extraordinary amount of energy, creative energy, and on all our parts was starting to catch up with it. You can only be amazing, for so long, and at a point you're going to be less amazing. And when you heap on top of that, you can't have the two leads together. And you heap on top of that, the network saying, boy, it'd be great if we could get more episodes. You go, more episodes? I'm trying to get you one effing episode. And at the same time, you're getting calls from agents saying, can't we have him for these 2 months in Guadalajara? Because we can do this movie, it's really difficult. And then the other person's thinking, I'd like to get a call where I'm asked to be in Guadalajara in a movie, and so they're a little out of sorts. And it was a lot to handle. The only good news was they hadn't invented the internet yet, and people didn't have phones. Otherwise, it really would have been completely impossible. But having said that, I couldn't be prouder of the work we did. I look back fondly on the process was nuts, and I'm probably responsible for that in more ways than almost anyone else, and to the extent that it frayed people and stuff, I apologize on the one hand. On the other hand, there was something about the process, the chaos, that was liberating in a way that I think also made the show hard to ignore. You felt it in the show. You felt people going, is this the best? Is this the best? Wait, I got a better one. You could feel it in the way it was put together. You could feel it in the writing, I think, and feel it just in the ideas, And I think that's why it's 40 years on and people are still watching it, and still asking about it and stuff. But I also think, like I said, serendipitously, what a great group of people. And, I wish I could take credit for that. I can't. We were just freaking lucky that we hired good. I'm going to tell you a stupid story really quick. all you read about now, because there's people write about writing television. When we were doing it, nobody was writing about it. Most people didn't even realize it was written. You turned the thing on and it came out of the box at you. But now everybody writes about television, and they're always writing about the writer's room. I'm so old. I remember we didn't have a writer. If you had said to me, the writer's room, I would have said, we don't have one of those. We had a room where we ate lunch every day with a round conference table, and we would talk to each other and bullshit, and story ideas would come out of that. Or if people had a problem, they'd come in and say, and we'd try and work it out and stuff like that. But it was very amorphous. If Ron and Jeff came in with an idea and it made sense, you'd say, yeah, go right, and people would go right. And they give it to you, and you'd say, what about this? What about that? And they go, shit. And they'd run back and they'd try that, and it was a bad idea, and you'd throw it out. But we were always trying to make it better. But my point is, we didn't this idea that people sit in a room all day, and I've done shows with writers' rooms, and I'm sure you guys have too. And it works, but there is something about Moonlighting was written by writers who came in not to sit in rooms and talk, but to write. And they wrote. And directors who came in, they weren't geniuses, but a lot of them were really, really good. Alan Arkus, who you mentioned, Peter Werner, who passed away last year. Again, serendipitous, because when we went on television, nobody was knocking down the door to do Moonlight. Nobody had heard of Moonlighting. It wasn't this hot prospect that everybody, it's just kind of great that we all ended up together. And believe me, we had our differences and, all of that. But I look back very, very fondly on it. And the fact that the shows still matter to people, I think says a ton. It says a ton about that group of people.
I totally agree. I'll just add something to the writer's room thing, and blow Glenn's horn. I should be careful about that sounds. I'll blow your horn for a second. Ron and I had worked on half-hour comedy before that. I think we were on 4 or 5 shows before Moonlighting, and we'd written a pilot that made it to air for a few episodes. I think that's what Glenn wrote of ours, and it was an hour-long bantery detective show, actually. And that was our first foray into hour-long writing. And the difference in the writer's room situation that Glenn's talking about, on half-hour comedy, they tended to get written. There'd be a first draft, but so much of those shows got written in the room. And you would come up with, with all of the writers sitting around and coming up with jokes. And, you'd come up with a lot of great jokes, but there wasn't the underneath. That's why sitcoms, with obviously, several great exceptions, they tended to be sort of surfacey kind of writing because you were doing it in the room and having to come up with jokes, off the top of your head, and more something that fit the moment, that was funny right then, but it wasn't really thoughtful in terms of what you found, like thematically or underneath. And Moonlighting was our first situation where I really felt, and it was not, we did a lot of story work in a room together, but the writing was never done in a room together. And I thought Ron and I, it was the one time I think back on where I was very aware of growing as a writer. Glenn always kind of said to us from the beginning, I think we took a couple drafts before we really kind of felt the show well enough, because I think we were coming out of that other kind of place, that half-hour comedy. And Glenn always I remember him always saying, follow the truth of the scene. What would the characters be doing now? What is the truth of that? And following that through, it sort of taught us how to tell stories with more depth. It was, I think you think about the banter a lot, and that was obviously Ron's and my favorite part of it, but the storytelling had depth to it. The relationship had depth. There were themes in the show, and that came from being that sort of situation. I think it really was writers you could shore up story and stuff together, but it was really writers sitting alone in a room, being able to think about it, and really being able to kind of, and being encouraged by Glenn and I guess by extension the network to be your most creative, to be the best you could be, and it was just really, yeah. Anyway, I just it's my favorite memory of writing too. Not only loving the show, but also what I was able to, the way I got to advance on the show as a writer, and that was really, it was pretty fun. It was pretty great, really.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. The writing on this show was just extraordinary, and some of the lines. I mean, I sometimes I watch an episode and I think, how do they think of? How do you think up this stuff? I would never have thought of it. But Glenn, you're so right. It's a team. I mean, you are highlighted because you created the show, but there's so many moving parts, so many people involved, and I know it would have been very difficult at times with timelines and everything, but wow, you put it together. Now, just quickly, get some Moonies just want to know everybody's favorite episode. What's your favorite episode, Glenn? And Jeff and Ron, what's your favorite episode that you've written?
I have a bunch, and they're all probably the obvious ones. I mean, obviously, Atomic Shakespeare, Dream Sequence always rings twice. I'll tell you a favorite of mine that I don't think people talk about much, but Every Daughter's Father is a Virgin, which is the one where Maddie thinks her dad is having an affair. Big Man on Mulberry Street. I mean, it's the obvious ones. There's no surprise.
Got set.
I'll tell you something. I look at the pilot, and it looks, it's the one that's hard for me to watch because it isn't the show yet. It's like somebody sort of took the ingredients and dumped them in a bowl and said, this is going to be a hell of a cake at some point, but it's not a cake yet. It took the addition of all these other people. And then I look at the first couple of episodes that were done, and it's still not there. I think we're the first place, like Jeff was saying, where it started to kick for him. He did a couple scripts and then suddenly he and Ron sort of went, okay, we know how to sing this song. I had that same experience in the sense that when we did, I can't remember the name of the episode, it might have been The Next Voice You Hear or something like that. It was the one about the DJ. That was the first time I went, oh, I can do this. We can mix really dark stuff with really funny stuff with really achy stuff. That was
Dr. Seuss was in that, right? At the door with
Dr. Seuss was the lady.
That's Murders in the Mail.
Murders in the Mail, and that was the other one. That was another wake-up call for me because I remember writing that Dr. Seuss thing.
Love it.
And listen, when you do stupid stuff like that, part of it is inspiration, but honestly, a lot of it is desperation. I've got to finish this story, and I don't effing know how to do it in an adult, responsible way. So I will make this crazy-ass leap and hope the audience is as grateful that they don't have to go through the turgid shit that's on other shows to get to this thing. And blah, blah, blah. But half of that is, honestly, I don't know what else to do, and there are people banging on my door. And so you write Dr. Seuss, and then you send it down, you cast it, you send it down, they shoot it, and you think that's done. And then the next day, because this was the old days, everybody would look at dailies, and the network called me, and they said, you can't do that. That's absurd. And I said, I had this very self-righteous fight with them. But again, it was a lie. I was pretending like I had this sort of mantle of artistic. It was horseshit. It was all I could come up with, and we'd already shot it. And then you see it on television, and you go, this is pretty cool. it really is that, and that was a big breakthrough for me. And I want to say that was the end of the first season, the last show of the first season. And the other thing people forget is we did not get picked up right away. We were number like 57 or 62 in the rating. I mean, we were way down there. And I was assuming we'd be canceled. And Bruce, I think, was praying that we'd be canceled because he was already getting calls from people about movies. And it was the advertising community that said, no, we want to be on that show. We want to be on reruns in the summer, and you're going to make more of those shows, right? And that was the reason we were picked up, because people also forget this. Back then, ABC stood for Aaron's Broadcasting Network. Aaron's spelling dominated the hour-long television business. And so it took tremendous amount of courage for ABC to say, the show we financed ourselves, we're going to put one of those on. Because Aaron, the way he would manipulate them is he would literally take to his bed for a week. He would literally just stay in his bed and announce that he was sick and he didn't know if he was going to pull through. He would send emissaries from the network over. And so it was a big deal that they picked up Moonlighting. It was not a success right off the top. And then, because we had more episodes, we were able to bring in what really became the sort of dream team of, people, directors, writers, and stuff. And, Jay was already there and Jerry Finneman was already there, but we really started to kick ass. You look at that first, what I call the full season, it's an amazing season of shows. Kerry Aaron and I mean, it was just, I don't know. It was great. And Deborah and Carl's episode, I mean, God, how do you touch that? So I have a lot of favorites. And I have a couple that if the negative ended up burning in a vault somewhere, I go, oh, darn, but I'd be secretly fine because I knew for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. I remember Steve Bochco once lecturing me about that. Half of them are going to be good, half of them are going to stink. He had already sort of, made that, understood that. And I didn't, and I get really frustrated, and I didn't know why they all couldn't be, terrific. And sometimes it would just be a part of a show. Or I remember when we did the boxing show, I was just so tickled that we were going to do a boxing show. I don't know why. I found it so effing funny. It was so Three Stooges. It was so Bowery Boys, I don't know.
Glenn, I'm sorry if I can interrupt, but that's kind of my choice. I love obviously the Shakespeare show, but the boxing is a symphony and knocked flat, I think.
Yes.
Right.
And that was where we divvied up the script, and everyone, that's one of the few times we sat in a room and kind of banged things out. I remember Jeff and I did the first and fourth acts, and because I love boxing, and Deborah and Carl did like, I don't know what they did. We divvied up the second and third acts to the others. And that was the time. And then we just put all the parts together and it worked. It worked. It was kind of a revelation to us all, because up to that point, we'd all been writing our own scripts,
right?
Rewrite scenes that maybe you had pitched our way or something. But that was the first time the staff actually pulled it together. I remember walking through the hall and Artie was walking by and he had this just beatific smile on his face, thinking, and he said out loud, I think this is going to work. Meaning this,
That's a name that we have to mention that probably nobody but us will care about, but Artie Mandelberg was, he ran post-production. He was my right hand in that part of the process, and he too was amazing, and his brother Neil was amazing, and then what's his name, Alf Clausen, who went on and scored The Simpsons for like 20 years, was amazing. I mean, we just put together a wonderful group of people, and again, I'd love to take credit for it, but I don't consciously remember doing it. I just sort of consciously remember it happening, quite frankly. We got very, very lucky. And you know, I wish I had been more skilled, you know, and could have held it together a little longer, but maybe that's just how long it was meant to be there, you know. Because it sure burned bright while it was burning bright, you know what I mean?
Sure did.
And I probably have the same feeling about season 5 that you do, Ron, which is, you know, the band looked the same, but they were singing a different song or something, you know, and you kind of go, oh, okay, you know, and you know, I'm not sure it mattered as much to the audience as it did to me, but it did. I'll admit to that smallness, and also I was aware, you know, I mean, Bruce was calling me all the time, and because nobody was more tuned in to what the show was than Bruce. Bruce would call me from the set, and he'd say, "You better get down here, they're fucking with your stuff," you know, meaning the actors or the director or somebody, because Bruce understood it was musical. Bruce understood there was a cadence, and that I remember hearing this great story. I'm going to digress, and then somebody will shut me up. One of the greatest nights of my life, I had dinner with Billy Wilder, right? Pretty great. But he told me a story, because he said to me, he said, "Do they ad-lib on your show?" He was a big fan of the show. And I said, "No, we really don't." I said, "We really labor over what we do, although we tend to do it very late." I said, "But it's very precise. Very, very precise." There's a point to this story. Oh, and so Bruce understood that. Bruce really understood that. But, you know, if you're a director, you're directing 6 different shows, you're leaving the show and going to the next show, blah, blah, you don't know that. And so he was always the first one to pick up on, it's going to the left, it's going to the right, it needs to be. And he wasn't saying, come change the script. He was saying, come down and watch the process, because the process is going awry. He was very smart that way and very intuitive that way. And very much a collaborator in that sense, you know. So, but I think I know anyway what Ron was linked to when he slipped that in there about season 5. I will confess, I don't know that I've ever watched all of season 5, just because I started to watch it and then went, oh, I saw all the things I thought might have made it feel more like the 4 seasons that preceded it. So, and that wasn't a productive place to be emotionally, you know. So
yeah, it's understandable. I mean, it's Grace here. I don't know if you can see me. It's understandable once you left, it wasn't going to be the same, because people have different visions, they have different styles, they have different stories, they have different writing styles, and it's understandable what happened. So it's not being, you know, there's no nastiness or anything towards the writers or anything. It's just that they wrote different to you. They had a different vision.
no, it isn't even that. I mean, it's and they're my friend. I love Chick and I love Roger. I mean, I love Roger. I'm jealous when I see the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald.
I love that.
And then you see the Doobie Brothers before Michael McDonald, and you go, I like both these bands. And that's what you aspire to. That's what you want. You know, hey, it's the same band, it's got the same name, but the sound changes tremendously. And yet you go, I like that sound. I'm glad you lean that way, because I'll lean that way with you. And they had this Herculean task, because by then, of course, Bruce was like, there are other things I could be doing. If we're not going to hit home runs, let's and Cybill was like, this has always been hard for me to do. There was a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah.
And that part of the job was never easy, for anybody. So I understood it intellectually, and I didn't hold them in any kind of contempt. I frankly was ashamed of myself for not being more generous of spirit, but thought, I'm in the privacy of my own living room. No one's going to know. But I couldn't. There was stuff I could, and some of them I hear are great. People will say to me, what an episode I love? And I'm like, wait, here we go. And they tell you one of the episodes from that period, you go, shit, I should watch that. I am really a person. And Bruce a couple of times said to me,
Bruce did. Bruce said that a lot, a couple episodes in season 5. Like
Yeah,
I see England,
so-
I see Mandy's Netherworld. That was one of his favorites. Yeah.
But I think, and again, forgive me for speaking for you, but I think part of it speaks to how personal it all was for all of us. I know for me, it was really personal. I don't think I've ever worked as hard in my life and been as thrilled by the result. And again, that's about this serendipitous confluence of people and, anyway.
Glenn, I just want to bring on Danielle. She is the master of the scripts. She has all the scripts in her possession, and she wants to ask you a question. So do you want to unmute yourself, Danielle?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So I have this question. I do have all the scripts, and it's actually very cool because you can see all the rewrites because they're like every color of the rainbow.
Yes.
but there are there's scenes in there that because they're shooting drafts, and I was always told that if they're a shooting draft, it means they're shot. But they're not in the episode. So are they out there somewhere, and can we see them?
What do you mean? Are there scenes that we dropped or didn't put in? I'm sure there are. That's a very cool picture of Ron Osborn as his father.
With his clowns.
I'm sure there are.
Let me give you an example. And it's so strange because like on Hulu, there's an episode in season 4, it's Maddie Hayes got married. And I understand this was 40 years ago, but in the description of it, it says that there is a shower and a bachelor party, meaning a bridal shower for Maddie. There's no bridal shower in what aired, but it is in the script. There's a clear scene. So like, I'm just curious if like Hulu's description says that, is there a scene out there that's just existing and we don't see it?
And have they kept them? That's the thing too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to see it.
Again, the show was a very, 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 very well run, very well disciplined, very well oiled machine. And once you embrace that truth, okay, there are 3 possibilities, 3 possible answers to your question. One is we wrote it and shot it and it didn't fit into the envelope. We had, I think it was back then, it was 52 minutes. Now it's like 42 minutes, but 52 minutes. And so you start looking for things you can lift out. That's possibility number 1. Possibility number 2 is we wrote it, we wanted to shoot it, we ran out of time and realized that the story worked without it. And that happens, by the way. Possibility number 3, we never fully. I'll give you an example. I wrote a scene where Bruce, and this was fairly early on, this was in season 2, Bruce slept with this girl. We cast it. It was the woman who ended up playing the lead in 30-something. It was her first job. It got her SAG card. She showed up. We put her in makeup. Melissa, maybe you can help me. Someone came to me, I can't remember who it was, and said, "You're making a monumental mistake. I said, what are you talking about? So if David Addison sleeps with another woman who isn't Cybill Shepherd, I don't like him anymore. Now, I'm aware that he probably does sleep with women who aren't Cybill Shepherd, but I don't want to see it. And it was somebody on the staff. It was like, it was like, I can't remember who it was. And I thought, when you hear somebody and they're absolutely right about something and you just kind of know where to go, you go, well, this is going to be embarrassing. And you knock on the trailer door, and this woman opens and said, I know we cast you. I know this is your first job. I know you got your SAG card. We're not shooting this. And then you have to go to the company of 160 people and say, I know this is on the call sheet and this is what the morning's about, but we're not doing this. What are we doing? We don't have anything else. I'll figure it out. And you run back to your office like a scared puppy, like somebody's going to come and tap you on the shoulder and go, we're on to you, get out of town. But those things happen. And those get in the script. They live on in the script. But I don't remember us throwing away very much, but I remember us being really savage in how we put scenes together, but not throwing away much. But it's been a long time, so I could be wrong about that.
I bet Jay wrote everything down. He has a gazillion and one notebooks.
Jay's ridiculous. He remembers everything.
But
that's the book we need published, Melissa. That's the book we need published.
There does exist, and I don't know if anyone but the network, but after a show airs, the writer assistants would need to go back and do a draft that aligned to what aired. Was the broadcaster, there's a name for it that is eluding me right now, but somebody would have those drafts because they had to do that.
But
I remember one
bridal party. I mean, just to but I couldn't possibly tell you, And as I say, I don't remember throwing much away.
I remember one, Glenn. I remember one, or for you, Danielle, too. I don't know if you know this. I can't remember it very well, but part of why it sticks out, it probably made it into the script that you have because it was the Shakespeare show, and Ron and I were it was the first draft. We were writing it just ahead of the camera, and so there wasn't really time to do very much of anything with it, and we wrote a scene. I can't remember it very well, but there's a scene in there.
Was it the animation?
No, it was the one. Well, the animated map, that was part, but this was a scene that actually came later after David had taken her back, to his home. And he came in, I think he came in after work, with a briefcase and maybe, it was Elizabethan time. So I think it was a briefcase and like parts of a chicken sticking out of the briefcase or something, and said, honey, I'm home, something like that. And there's a little bit of a scene with the two of them at as he comes home from work, his 9 to 5 kind of Elizabethan gig, right? And I believe because it was such do you remember that? That's in the script?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I could have it with me. I could have my son bring it up from downstairs. But yes, I recall it.
And it didn't make to the show because the production was such an elaborate thing, and I think we all realized we don't have time. We don't have time to shoot this, and we probably don't need it. And it just kind of all added up. That's an example of one that didn't get shot. Those things would occasionally happen, but for no real reason other than you realize this is long enough already. We probably have to cut it afterwards anyway.
I've got that. I've actually got that script, and it's a funny scene. It's a sort of like a "Honey, I'm home" type thing. Quite funny. It's a shame that was deleted.
Yeah, I think we even said "Honey, I'm home." I think. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I think so.
Is the animated map still in it? We did the scene there when he's leaving Padua for Verona, but because she hasn't slept with him yet. On the map, they're going all over the place till they finally get to Verona because he can't see straight. And it was a great it was a great visual joke, but stupidly, of course, I didn't know that animation took time.
Yeah.
When he wrote it, so.
I have two more questions that have been bugging the fandom for, decades. One, there's a missing proposal that's written in somewhere, and I know I've asked Jeff and Ron this before. They're probably saying, and it must have been in there somewhere, because each recap in the beginning of season 4 episodes have it in the recap that David actually proposed to Maddie. Was there one? And then I'll just ask it in a 2-part, even though they're not really related. There's a final episode in it's Flesh Was Made Word. I know it's 40 years ago. And it was written that Maddie and David move in together, but it was the writer's strike. And it was written on the day of the writer's strike. And it was, instead of, it seems to me that maybe you ran out of time to film it, because it's when you guys are all singing Wooly Bully at the end. Do you have any memory of any of those things that I just said?
Well, Glenn, you might do better than me. I'll just tell you the brief thing is, I don't know if they're connected. Wooly Bully was very much an answer to the strike, that, you know, that we used that as a way to fill that time at the end. But go ahead, Glenn, if you remember anything about the proposal thing. I don't remember that at all.
No, I was thinking we need to get somebody who's smarter in here, because I honestly don't remember any of this. I can't remember. I'm sure what you're saying is true, but I'm also sure that him proposing is a big, tectonic, we would have heard about it like a lot, and this is the first I've heard. So I honestly don't remember, and I can't answer very well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. That's because fair. It's in Father Knows Last, where David says to Mr. Hayes, "Oh, I asked her to marry me. She said no," and that's what brings up the question: when did he do that? Yeah.
The only a little synapse. The only thing I can think of. It's hard to conjure it out of context, but it might have been in a scene. It isn't that you missed it; it's that it didn't happen. It's that I believe there was a scene where he's throwing out a bunch of ideas to solve a problem that they're having, and among those ideas, "Come on, I'll marry you," and then he rattles it off. It isn't this big sort of framed thing. It's and again, I'll sign nothing. I'm not sure this actually happened. Fair. but that makes more sense to me, frankly, than the actual everything comes to a stop. Because he that's just not A, the way he's built, and B, it's not the kind of scene we would write, or that I can imagine us writing anyway. Fair. So you had one more question. We can let you down one more time.
No, it's totally fine. It's the one okay, so that Flesh Was Made Word, right? Was the last episode before that writer's strike happened.
And that 100% right, by the way. We put together
what it was.
And it was 5 minutes short. And by the way, this is what I was referring to when I said we were savage about how we would put together the episodes. The idea that it had to be this exact time so they could fit in all the freaking Ford ads, it was of no interest to me. So we would cut it so it was at its funniest, and that a lot of work, and sometimes that meant it was 3 or 4 or 5 minutes short, and so we would go back and we would create these standalone things where they talk to the camera and this and that, and we were in the midst of this strike. It was actually a very funny idea. I think it was your idea, Jeff, as I recall, maybe.
I honestly can't remember. I don't know, Glenn. I'm not sure.
And Curtis said it was Bruce's idea.
I remember Bruce smacking me on the back of the head when I was sitting there with the sign, but that's all I remember about it.
And I remember whoever said Curtis should do it, because I remember those were 2 separate ideas. And I may be wrong about this, but I remember Wooly Bully was an idea because it's just funny. And then someone, and I think because of the way things naturally happened, everybody thought, well, that should be Bruce. And then someone, and again, I don't know why I keep wanting to credit this to you, Jeff, but that's how it comes up in my head, said, wouldn't it be funnier if, and give it kind of a story in a way, if it's performative, because if it's Curtis, it's performative, and he's doing it to impress, and sort of, it gives it a sort of that's my vague recollection. May have been Roger. It may have been Roger.
It might have been. I don't remember coming up with that, actually. I'll bet it was. He was, because Curtis was playing embarrassed by it too, wasn't he? A little
Yes.
bit.
Yes,
Part of the
very
deal.
much so.
He didn't want to do it. Yeah.
Didn't do it.
Yeah.
But you were wondering, Danielle, if the plan before that Willy Bully
Right.
thing replaced it was for them to move in together. So yeah,
that's right.
Was the
'Cause
trajectory of the
script says
show?
that. Yeah. The script
That
says
they're
that,
moving
and
in
it
to-
says
Yeah. So
that they're moving in together. But the pages are written literally the day of the strike. And it always seems to me that it was the way the script reads, that that was the last thing that was written, but almost like you didn't have time to film it. And I'm if anybody can correct me, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for the fandom that we would love to know that Maddie and David were living together or were ended up together somehow. Because there's a
think
lot
it
of us
was-
out here that,
They just weren't written.
Danielle, I think
We
it
were
was.
there.
Well,
I
go
was
ahead,
there
Ron.
the night. I was there. I got a call. I was home. I don't know where you were, Jeff. But the writers were there, and they said, "Come into the studio. We're going to have to stop writing at midnight."
yeah.
And I went there. I remember, and we nailed. We did the rest of the script, and there was nothing after that.
Okay.
There was nothing discussed, to my knowledge, and there was certainly nothing written.
I think it was a choice. I think it was a choice between watching a proposal scene or watching the writers dance. And I think everybody thought, what could possibly be more entertaining?
Oh, yeah, that's what fans wanted.
Yeah. Great dancing, by the way, you two. Fantastic.
You have to understand that as a process, once we were up against the strike, what we knew but nobody wanted to articulate was, no one's going to see this episode for months.
Okay.
Because we couldn't work on it. We were going to have to put our pencils down, and the people who need to oversee post-production weren't going to cross the picket line. So I'm sure whatever was written in the script, nobody thought mattered very much at that point, because we would be able to revisit it when we came back. We could revisit it with rested eyes or whatever. And again, the idea of the writers walking around, because I remember we were very, nobody was excited about that strike.
Yeah.
We all sort of felt like, hey, this is good for us right now. So it was a way to sort of say, I don't know. It's just, it was a weird moment. Every strike is weird in the sense that you're speaking on the phone. So you're always bifurcated. You're always going, okay, I'm fighting for something that's important. Is this the only way I can fight? is to not work?
Right.
How did we get here? So but anyway, and then whoever, whether it was Roger or Ron or Jeff or somebody, we can't remember, somebody said Curtis should do this. And Curtis is just so effing funny. I think everybody just sort of like lit up and went,
It was
okay.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was
good.
hilarious.
One of the things I wanted to ask Jeff and Ron is about the Casablanca episode with Curtis while we're talking about Curtis.
Oh, I love that episode.
I think it's just as good as Atomic Shakespeare. I know you can come after me for that, but I think that Casablanca thing is so funny. Any memories about writing that?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Scott, and we loved it. We love doing it. It's just it's hard to compare them to anything with Bruce and Cybill in it, because it's just a different kind of TV show, But Curtis was awesome in it, and Ron, you can speak to it too. We just had so much fun writing, a Bogart parody. It was just really, really fun to do. But
And Elise too. I thought Elise was,
Elise was fantastic. It was just a really great experience, in a season that wasn't having enough of those, frankly, it just was that kind of thing. But
and graphically, I thought it was, it just, it looked
beautiful,
great.
beautiful to look at. It really was. Yeah.
Again, it's that problem.
We got set dressing from the original Casablanca. There we had things from the actual movie in the scene. I mean, it's
what did we have? Do you remember? I don't remember what we had from the movie, but I know we
The
had some.
lampshade.
Yeah, the lampshades.
Was that it? Yeah.
But that's probably my all-time favorite film. That or Bicycle Thief. I toggle between it depending which day, but it's hard to beat that movie. So this was a suggestion that I think you and I wrote that episode, didn't we?
Yeah,
Right?
we definitely wasn't it in pieces? Was it a few different
stories? It was
I can't remember now, but we definitely wrote the Casablanca version. I don't remember if we wrote the whole script or not. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
You remember, Scott, what else was in it?
Yeah, it's the Aladdin. I don't know, I can't, every word I'm thinking of, I don't think you're allowed to say anymore. You guys know what I'm saying. He wears the green because he takes off his, he's a sheik. There we go. I think you can say sheik. He's like the sheik.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember much more. Thank you for saying that, and we loved writing it. We had a great time. Shakespeare was a lot more complete thing, though. That's and it had Bruce and Cybill. I mean, there's just a lot about that.
So Elise were also Brutus and Elise were also very appreciative.
Yes.
They were just very generous people. And I just almost cast him in something, Curtis, last year. And he's just great to talk. He still talks of that show. He actually wrote a book. I don't know if you've read his book, his biography.
Yes.
And he speaks at some length about Moonlighting.
Yes.
Yep, he sure does. No, but that episode, one of my favorites, just for sheer production value. You feel like you're walking into Rick's Cafe, seriously. Putting it in black and white, and McGillicuddy as Laszlo, unbelievable. He was just fantastic, and Curtis Armstrong just did Bogey so well, just the mannerisms, and I just love that episode. It's so well made.
He was so the cynic, Oh God, I got to watch that again.
Yeah. I just want to add, one of our assistants wants to ask a question, Carolyn.
Hi. So I think I speak on behalf of a lot of us in the Moonlighting fandom. I mean, whether it was intentional or unintentional, I think you created one of the best romances on screen of all time. I mean, to the level of, Bogey and Bacall, or, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. And hearing you guys say, and Glenn, you mentioned earlier that, David and Maddie kind of, live maybe free range in your head. Like, what are they like in their 60s or 70s? And I know a lot of us in the fandom have those same thoughts. A lot of us, a lot of folks write fan fiction to try and, I think kind of cure maybe some of the ills of season 5. But do you see that Maddie and David together today? Do you see them ending up together if it were up to you?
I mean, the honest answer is yes. But the task that you have is you have to make that plausible, and you have to make it plausible, and at the same time somehow let the audience know that though they've missed 40 years of history, that that somehow the leap from here to here makes sense. So, and again, and without getting maudlin about it, whenever I thought about moonlighting, and I thought about moonlighting a lot, and big secret I'll let you in on. A couple of times Bruce called me and confessed that he was really, really, really sort of had it with traveling and going to these foreign countries and staying there for 3 months and making a movie. Blah, blah, blah. Do we want to do something? Do we want to? Is there some world in which this thing gets back up on its feet, or some other thing too? He talked about, and that's where I started to think about this idea of where are they now, and also this fascination I have with what's love like when you're in your 50s or your 60s, because we so rarely see that depicted. And maybe they haven't been together this whole time. In fact, maybe they've been apart. And so maybe this is about some coming together and realizing that they'd missed an opportunity for the other, all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, Bruce, got ill. And I was aware that he was ill for a while before, it was out there, and you start to give up that notion because you go, okay, I can't possibly do this and would never do this without him. So it's a difficult question for me to answer. But the good news is, the great news is, we have what we have, and what we have, I think, is quite terrific. I have many fantastic qualities. One of the best is that I'm completely self-loathing. So it's my inclination to watch anything I've been involved with, particularly from a slight distance, and go, oh my God, this is awful. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Oh my God. And I must say that happens almost never when I put an old Moonlighting on. I find myself going, I miss this. Yeah. I miss making it. I miss the birth. I miss the camaraderie. I miss, listen, I've been around long enough, and I've heard enough people. I've read enough magazine articles and stuff. I know I'm not a day at the beach. Having said that, I have one of those weird sociopathic minds that I tend to blot the bad stuff out and only remember the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I have so much good stuff for Moonlighting. And as I say, that's not true for everything I've done. I look at some things and think, how could I have been so wrong about this? Not just the Walter on the train stuff.
You know what, Glenn?
But
there's a book in that.
I don't.
Gotcha.
But so anyway, long answer to a short question, but I get paid by the word. So there you have it. I do believe they're together, and a bus ticket will get you on a bus.
And I just
Thank
want
you
to
so
let
much,
you guys
Glenn.
know that Carolyn is the one that wrote this cookbook.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations.
Yes, I know it sounds completely insane, but you watch Moonlighting, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of dinners, and it's really fun. But part of it is also filming locations like at different restaurants, the Earl Carroll Theater, for example, for Dream Sequence, and a lot of LA restaurant type history. So I'm really proud of it. So I hope everyone enjoys it. And if you don't have a copy, I'm happy to get one to you. I think that Scott sent you one.
I love your costume too. I love your costume.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I didn't really think real hard about the fuzzy dice hitting me in the face as much as they have.
I love it. It was one of Ron's and my favorite little scenes. At the beginning, sun also rises, right? It's
yes.
And I'll tell you a little secret, a little inside look. One of my line that I really liked from that, I saw it on the show whenever it came out a year or two ago. And I wanted to rewrite it, but it's vacation never ends. It just changes location. I thought it would have been better if it had rhymed. I kind of thought, shouldn't I have said we never end vacation? It just changes location. So I don't know. It was one of those just sticking in my head, But
I love it.
But anyway, I love that scene, and it's a really fun costume.
I love
it's
that.
great. It's a favorite.
I love it. That's one of those times where I saw that. I was actually jealous. I thought that's a brilliant. I think I may have said effing in my head. Scene.
I think you did too. I could see it.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. And it is the imagery in it is so strong and the performance is so strong that as soon as you came up on my thing, of course, I saw the dice, I saw the hat, and I knew exactly what you were referring to.
It's
And
iconic. You can watch it 100 years from now and it will still stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Just like the limbo scene. It's another iconic David Addison moment, I think. Just like
well,
the
there's
dream
another.
sequence.
Okay, I'll just brag about that then because you brought it up. That was the first thing Ron and I wrote, and I believe, Glenn, you might not remember this, but you needed an opening scene for the previous episode. I mean, for the one that came. We wrote it for Knowing Her, and we needed it, or Glenn said we needed an opening scene for whatever came right before Knowing Her, and so it got moved, and we wrote the scene you see now with Maddie having been I think fixing her car, like caught in the rain and fixing her car and all that. That was our second choice for scene to do. I mean, we had to rewrite a new first scene because the limbo scene got moved back into something. But that was the first thing I remember ever writing on the show, I believe.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
as long as we're doing this, how about Good Love in the church?
Fantastic. Clap.
Yeah.
And Bruce kicked ass at it, didn't he? God, Bruce was so good.
I remember too, and I was there when we did it, but I looked at it on film and went, oh my God, I'm jealous. This is a perfect marriage of material and talent and story. And it was so good.
So fun. The performance is so great. It was shot so well. It was just really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you've done, Glenn. What have you done?
I
mean, look at all the fans here. All the fans here today.
here.
A lot of the fans here today are dressed up in garb, moonlighting. I'm actually Maddie in blonde on blonde, except I didn't have a proper coat. But I've decided I'm cowgirl Maddie because I haven't got the right coat on. And Carolyn's got her sombrero on, and a lot of them have all dressed
Clearly
up.
insane.
It's so fabulous. Really, really good. They've all got, some of them have got their merch on, and so 40 years later, Glenn should be proud. Should be proud.
David.
I have a question, Glenn. Have you seen One Residual yet?
Have I seen?
Now that the writer's strike apparently got us residuals on our streaming. Have you seen Jack yet?
Not only have I not seen Jack, but in order to get the show restored, I had to sign a piece of paper because Disney is they're scraping along. They're
they're nearly bankrupt, are they? Yeah. Okay.
I had to sign away a bunch of stuff to finance half of it.
Oh.
You signed away. You signed away yours, Ron, but I've been getting
my residuals.
No, I think it's crazy. What I did willingly. I really desperately wanted to see the show, basically what they said is it's going to cost us this much. I've never, by the way, gotten a profit off. I've never made any money off of Moonlighting because I spent so much money making Moonlighting. So it's all charged to the show. So we're finally getting close, and like an idiot, I said, I really desperately want to see the show restored. And I've been campaigning for about 5 years to do that. And they finally came to me and said, okay, we'll crunch you this amount of money for the restoration and the music rights and blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. I was really thrilled. They said, but you have to sign this piece of paper saying you understand you will get no money till we reach this threshold.
Oh.
And we can't imagine reaching this threshold for at least 3 years.
Mm.
And you go, I don't want to curse. But I thought I must have fucking idiot tattooed on my forehead. But you have no choice. You have no choice. What are you going to do? But again, I never made any profit on Moonlight because it was never syndicated. So I've always felt like, and I've never been bitter about it because I always thought I fooled everybody. They let me make this thing, as opposed to, I mean, so, and I've been very blessed. So, in my life, so it's very hard to bitch, but no, I've not seen a single residual, not a created by, not a written by, not a nothing. I don't understand. That's the part of our union that just baffles. I have other parts of our union that baffle me, but that one really baffles
Let's
me.
strike. I say we strike. Wooly bully. Wooly bully.
No, because people are making tons of money. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah,
Tons of.
Yeah. Oh,
And the
absolutely.
people that sat in rooms and made the stuff up that makes it possible aren't getting paid. And it's, I find it shocking. I find it shocking.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as I see something, I'll let you know. Or as soon as I hear something, even I'll let you know. Because it's wrong. It's just patently wrong,
On Monday night, we're asking everybody to stream the pilot episode on Hulu and try to get it, trending. And we're trying to spread the word for everybody to watch the pilot Monday night, which is the 3rd of the official 40th. So maybe we can help you reach that hold a little faster. Yeah.
No,
So,
I think
everybody
I admit that they got there before 3 years. I just don't think it's in their DNA to do that. But by the way, I love Disney. They've really been terrific in terms of, they gave the show a very muscular launch when it went on Hulu for a very old show. They're good people. It's just the system is, and then I'll shut up. I'll get off my soapbox. But the system is so innately corrupt and set up, particularly. And I'm a writer, director, producer, but I'm telling you, it is innately set up to take advantage of writers, who are the people who do all the R&D.
No, you wouldn't have anything without the writers. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
So, I feel you, Ron. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Anyway, this is very.
Yes, real quick. A message to Jay Daniel through Melissa, if possible, next time you see him. Is he ever planning on doing anything with all of those notes and books that he has from those days? Because, I mean, fans would love to see, some of that. We're also,
I'll ask him.
Grace and I, the podcast is putting out a fanzine now, Moonlighting the Podcast fanzine. And we'd love to, share some of his pages in the fanzine if he's willing.
Yeah.
Good luck with the book.
Shauna, Grace, my costume finally arrived, and I was just hoping to share it with you.
Oh, Jason!
I've been holding this sheet up above my man boobs for about 30 minutes, and I'm sure I don't have the gifts that were given to Cybill Shepherd's anatomy to keep the sheet up on its own, but I'm doing my best, and this is in honor of you and all the work you've done to create a platform where us Blue Moon geeks can hang out and laugh and learn, and we need it now more than ever.
It reminds me of the interview she did with David Letterman when she came in on with a towel.
Oh, yes. And you could see her actual clothes hanging in the back behind his desk.
That's
And
right.
she was like,
yes.
yeah, I don't feel like wearing that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's fabulous.
Hilarious. Yeah, She wore that outfit a few times in the show, not just the Big Bang, but in Dream Sequence and other times. That was a favorite look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cybill
anything
in
to
a-
see
Cybill
her
in a-
strapless. That was a good choice.
That was.
Thanks,
Looks good.
Jason.
You wear it well. And thank you. Very honored.
It's beautiful, Jason. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I gotta go, guys. I've got to.
Okay, thank you guys so much. I mean,
That's
yes, I know
fine.
you can't all hang around forever. We kept you way longer than we expected.
Definitely
but it was so great,
go-
guys.
Yeah, go and watch. Well, it'll be released up on YouTube, and the podcast will probably be in 2 or 3 parts. So we're only supposed to go 2 hours, but this has been great. You guys have been sharing your memories with us, which is we really appreciate. So thank you for being here.
Thank you guys for asking, and thanks all of you for being fans. Thanks a lot. It's really great.
Thank you. Send that video.
Yes.
Yeah, Scott, that'd be great.
Sent it. So it's in your email box right now. I already sent it to you.
Thank you.
Good to see everyone.
Thank
Melissa,
you.
Glenn, good to see you
Yeah,
guys.
Melissa, thank you so much, Glenn. But if anyone we still have more to do. If anybody wants to stick around, we're
we've still got more funny segments on. So
I'm sorry.
Nobody
Goodbye,
feel like they
everyone.
have to stick around.
Thanks,
It'll be on
Jeff.
YouTube.
I
Bye,
have
Jeff.
to go with Jeff. I'm sorry. Just kidding.
Yes.
But again, thank you guys so much for doing this and for putting it together. And it's very, very touching. And if you told me 40 years ago that we'd be doing this, I would have said, what? And it's so great to see everybody again. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and
Thank you.
we'll see you soon, hopefully. Okay.
Oh gosh, guys, that was amazing.
No, we weren't expecting that.
You know-
That just happened, by the way. They all happened to be at the same time.
Yeah.
Laurel, you look amazing, girl. You are so hot.
Yes, very,
I just
very
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Maddie Hayes from Stop Murder. I didn't have a pearl dress, but I did, whatever I could. So.
Oh, you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yep, look good.
All right. So should I start?
This looks like Maddie and David right here on the screen. So I love it. All right, take it away.
Truly.
Press it. Put me out of my misery and press it.
My kind of button. All right.
Can we leave now?
Nice, firm. Takes me back to my days at San Quentin. It's a joke. Come here. Give it a try.
I'll take your word for it.
Maddie.
David.
You know what your problem is?
I'm sure you'll tell me.
You're just not spontaneous.
You're right. Let's go.
Come here. Come sit by me.
Why?
Because we're here on a private train with a nice bed and carpeting on the walls. And besides, I ask nice. I do it for you.
And then we can go.
Then we can leave. There now, see? That didn't hurt a bit, did it?
No.
It must have really been something back then, traveling across the country by train, listening to the clickety-clack as the train rumbled through the heartland. Passengers, every passenger's face a mystery, every car filled with the possibility of intrigue, danger, romance.
Do tell.
Wow.
Incredible meals served on fine linen, drinks sipped as the train cuts through the twilight.
Twilight?
Twilight. Do you feel something?
That's
Nail
my
claps.
pulled up against your ribs.
Good golly, it's almost sunrise here on the old Addison Flyer. David presses a button as the bed scoops Maddie and David back into the wall, closing.
Addison?
Wrong button.
Addison, do something.
What?
Do something.
What?
You did this on purpose.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Miss DePesto enters her cabin as David and Maddie are stuck behind the bed on the wall.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Did.
Didn't.
Did.
Didn't. Hello?
Did. Miss DePesto.
Grandma?
No, it's Maddie.
And David.
We're in the bed in the wall.
Oh, do you want me to leave?
No, press the button and get us out.
Button? Oh, the button.
The button.
Miss DePesto presses the button on the wall and the bed opens up. Was it good for you too? She made me do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel we were ready.
We're moving.
Do we have to? All my friends go to this school.
This train is moving.
Land of Goshen, she's right.
Addison, you better figure out a way to get me off this train.
Whoa, lady, I will gladly get you off this train. I will throw you off this train if necessary, but kindly refrain from any physical act that is not of an erotic nature. This is not my fault.
Ha! 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 I was not born yesterday.
It's true. I had lunch with her yesterday. If she'd have been born, I'd have noticed. Well, maybe if we all just sat down, Mr. Pesto.
Ha!
Maddie storms out of the cabin with one shoe on and the other shoe in her hand.
The end.
Yay. Hey, good job, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That
All
was
right.
great. Love
That
it.
was amazing.
So good.
So cute. Okay, Grace, I think it's time for your trivia. Back to
Oh
trivia.
God. Okay.
You
I'll
want to try
do.
a few
I'll
or-
let you guys
move
will
on?
just unmute yourselves because there's not many left anyway. So I'll just let's give some easy ones. Brother, can you spare a blonde? While Richie is singing on stage with his dancers, which model of car do the dancers say Richie owns?
Oh.
Now he's rich and he's thin and owns a.
Porsche 944.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Yay, Kara! Sorry. No, I've already done that. I know Shauna knows this one. Maddie's turn to cry. What two food items does David offer Maddie when she shows up in the middle of the night?
Cheese or peanut butter?
Cheese?
That's right.
Yeah, cheese, peanut butter. The
Cheese
cookbook
and peanut
person
butter.
ought to know that one. So
Right?
All right. A trip to the moon. What are the 3 rooms that David says to Maddie where the relationship is going? You know, he's standing outside her bathroom.
Yeah.
Bedroom, and then the living room and the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bedroom,
Yeah.
bathroom, kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Season 4, Cool Hand Dave 1 and 2. What is one of the crimes that Mad Dog Hunley has committed?
He killed the babysitter, didn't he?
More than that. How many? Bonus
Oh,
question.
Ah.
How many episodes in season 5?
13.
Oh.
13.
yeah.
So 13. He killed
13 too many.
He killed 13 babysitters.
Oh. Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you did there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just stop it there and we'll go on to the next thing.
So the next thing we have is another set of Moonlighting memories from Kara Reifert.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Did I say your
Cara.
name correctly?
You
Is it
did.
Kara or is it? Oh, good.
No, you got it. Both correct. So nice job. I
Yay.
appreciate that. No one gets my name right, so thank you. So I've been a fan for 40 years. I too started watching the show with my mother. It was the pilot episode when it was 1985. It was March, so I was not even 8. And like I was telling Shauna, it scared me when Mr. Mohawk came out of the elevator dead. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never watching the show again. Because I was a little kid, and little kids probably shouldn't have been watching Moonlighting anyway. But needless to say, about the following year, when they had the reruns of the short first season, I got hooked on it. I started recording every episode in 1986, and then full-blown fan for 40 years. I mean, I can recite the dialogue. I could tell you the music and a scene. That's why I was so upset with Hulu, because the scenes change when it's not the original music. So I'm glad that I have the DVDs. But yeah, I love the show. I got to see Bruce Willis at BB King's. When was that? In the early 2000s, when he has his band. I saw Cybill Shepherd on Broadway, which was awesome. I have a picture of her, but I was too nervous to get a selfie with her, so I was upset about that. But yeah, just a fan for many years. I don't know if you could see my pictures. Bruce Willis, that poster I got for my 10th birthday in 1987, and I still have it.
I love that memorabilia.
That is
What was
fabulous.
that? Thank you.
Can you tell us about the autographs behind you with the photos?
You know, I often wonder if they're legit because I bought it off of eBay when I saw the Moonlighting poster, because I'll get it for you. I wanted it because I never saw something quite like this. It has Moonlighting and it says ABC on it. So I really just got it because it just was the Moonlighting poster. So I don't really know if they're legit autographs.
Wow,
Isn't
it
that
looks so
cool?
small behind you,
Right?
and I didn't know it was that big.
I
Wow.
know.
Oh, that's awesome. The Bruce one's big too.
I've never seen that poster before, ever, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I was just going to say
No,
the
me
same
neither.
thing. Yeah.
Me
And
either.
it
That's
looks
why I
like
saw it.
signatures too.
Yeah,
What was
and it
that?
looks like it has the tagline from the 1986 up front. You'll love it on ABC. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes,
And so
you're
it
right,
seems
it
like
does.
that's what it might be from.
Well, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted, I love looking at, yeah, your memorabilia, sorry. I feel like
It's
I was
okay.
delayed a bit, but one of the things I've loved about Cara over the years is whenever you have a party, you get their champagne, which I always want to do and I haven't yet, but you always have the champagne with the, the Perrier-Jouët.
Perrier-Jouët, yeah.
With the flowers. Yeah. And
Today I don't. I have
Cara wrote-
Prosecco. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, Prosecco's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she has vanity plates that say Moonlighting.
Yes, I do.
A
On my
BMW.
BMW, which is blue. The BMW is
Okay,
blue, but
yep.
actually, it's, you know whose BMW that is? I don't know if you're familiar with James Bond GoldenEye, but he drove the Z3 in the Atlanta blue. But it just happened to work for Moonlighting since I didn't have the Shark, the 635 CSI. So, so I got my Moonlighting vanity plates on it.
Fabulous. That's great.
That's so cool. I know. That's why
That's just amazing.
stories and pictures are also in our fanzine, the 40th fanzine that Cara contributed. So thanks for that. But yeah, I just know you've been like such a long time Mooney and, like expressed your Mooney ways in like every possible way that you can. So yeah, I want you to share
Because
that.
it's a part of our lives. I feel like that even if you don't watch the show for say like a year or something, it's just so a part of who we are now that we can quote it to you and you'd get it, or something would just spark a memory in us. It's just forever a part of our DNA now.
That's right.
I know.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean-
100% agree. You
Right?
just said everything that epitomized who I am. Like I am Bruce and Cybill the same. David, Maddie, to Shauna's and Grace's point, the characters get mixed into the actors and who really are they, but they are who I am. Like I
Right.
became these people. Yeah. So
Right.
I so identify with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you for listening. And I feel honored to be a part of this group. To finally meet you guys, I've spoken with you online, but never actually seen you or chatted with you this way. So this has been really great. Great.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Cara. The closest I got to getting the car was the model. So I've got my model here.
I have that too.
Cost me
It's
a
so
damn
nice.
fortune, but yeah, I love it. It's very delicate though. I'm too
It is very
yeah.
delicate.
I can't
Mhm.
have it on display. It's yeah, it's very delicate, especially
My
since
niece
it's
has
so
got a
old.
hold of it and kind of broke some parts off of it, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
me too. One of the rear vision mirrors has come off.
Oh, see, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
what can you do? Oh, where's
Right.
Shauna? Have we lost
Um,
Shauna?
I'm here. Can you see me?
See, where'd she go? There you are.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, we have another scene that was filmed by a fellow Moonie. Maddie's monologue from Big Man.
I know you're wondering what I'm doing here. I don't know myself. Somewhere over Arizona, I realized that I probably shouldn't be on this plane, but by then it was too late. So, here I am. And the only explanation that I have is that I thought that I could really help you. I don't know how, but I just did. But don't worry, I can leave. I already checked. There's a flight back to St. Louis in an hour, and if I leave now, I can make it. Except that I'm really, really exhausted. And I like to get some rest. But only if I stay, I'd like to stay somewhere, nearby. I already checked about the room next door, and the guy at the front desk said that he wouldn't give it to me unless, you said that it was okay. So, I guess you have to tell him that it's okay. Unless it's not okay. I know that I'm not making any sense right now. What I'm really, really trying to say is that I'm really sorry about the loss of your brother-in-law. And if I seemed a little frosty when you told me, it was just that I was so surprised that you had been married before, which is stupid, right? I mean, why should I think that you should have told me that you had been married before? I understand that there are pieces and pockets of our lives that are private. I certainly haven't told you everything about my life. It's not like we have that kind of relationship. It's not like we're, I just realized what I should do. And I should go catch that flight.
So next up, we have Shoshana Greenberg, who has a performance for us, and she's dressed in a lovely Maddie dress.
Don't you change, some will find night, some fly by day. Nothing could change you, set and sure of the way. Charming and bright, laughing and gay. I'm just a stranger, love the blues and the breaks. There is a sun and moon facing their own streets too. Watch and when dawn is due, sharing one space. Some walk by night, some fly by day. Something is sweeter when you meet along the way. We'll walk the night, we'll fly by day, moonlighting strangers who just met on the way, who just met on the way, who just met on the way. The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. Oh, won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. So won't you please be my little baby? Say you'll be my darling. Be my baby now. Whoa, I'll make you happy, baby. Just wait and see. For every kiss you give me, I'll give you 3. Oh, since the day I saw you, I've been waiting for you. You know I will adore you till eternity. So won't you please be my little baby? Say you'll be my darling. Be my baby now. Whoa. Be my little baby. Oh, 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 be my baby now.
Hey, by the way, Shauna and Grace, I've been missing your podcast since last year.
What?
When's your next one? Just saying.
Okay, so this will be the first one. It'll be released in a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
It'll probably be in parts because it's way too long to upload. So that'll be that. And then we've already interviewed another guest, so that'll be probably in between that. So, but yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but you ladies, seriously, the homework you guys do, the amount of energy and passion you guys put into it just is phenomenal. And every week I look forward to it. I read your book first, and then I listen to your podcasts.
Love it.
And then I watch the episode after, to be honest with you, because I get all the tidbits along the way. So just amazing job. And I seriously miss it so much. So you guys have a lot of work to catch up on, just saying.
Can I just ask you, what the hell have you been doing for 2 or 3 months without us? Seriously. I mean, you know.
Suffering. That's what I've been doing. Suffering.
Avoiding season 4.
Oh, thank you for those kind words.
Yes, thank you, Rusty. Avoiding season 4. I'm not looking forward to it. Not whatsoever.
Well, we're going to try to make season 4 palatable. Yeah, we're going to put as much energy into season 4 and season.
Yep.
You're a hero.
Season 5 as we have the others. Well, I think Grace agrees. You know, by the end of this podcast, we just want to leave a very like cohesive, detailed body of work, like put all of our energy into leaving, because they're evergreen, right? Like it's been 40 years, the episodes haven't changed, right? So yeah, we just want to just look at as much detail in each episode as we can. And we just want to look back and say, I mean, this whole thing is going to help a lot, but like we talked to this person, that person got this insight, got these questions answered. A lot of them were today. And just like look at the episodes in a deep dive. So that's what our goal is by the end of season 5. We want to give as much energy to all the episodes as we can.
Can I just tell you, ladies, seriously,
as we've done.
You guys are my number one podcast. I listen to the podcast too, while you guys are having a break or making your books or whatever other things you guys are, shirts and all this kind of stuff you guys are doing.
The same.
But I'm addicted to your podcast because it is just phenomenal. And there's things I agree with and disagree with, and I'm walking along and laughing and like, no, Grace, you're wrong, or Shauna, you're crazy. What are you thinking? But it's like a girlfriend podcast. I absolutely adore it. I'll let you guys know.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
It's, you know what, when we started this
so nice
podcast, we never would have thought we would have done this event today. Not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
Like Glenn.
Get all these guys to come to
crazy.
Cybill.
The lineup you guys had when you guys teased it 20 hours ago or 24 hours ago on Instagram, I told my husband, you guys have a Cybill Shepherd, Glenn Gordon Caron. What? You are blowing my freaking mind right now. So thank you so much for lining all these people up that made this show who it is and what it is and how it impacted our lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't think they realize how much it's impacted a lot of people. And there's a lot of great stories out there that people have told and just, brings a tear to the eye. It really does. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Yep. That's really nice to hear. All right. So yes. Our next,
who's next?
Yes, our next
person sharing
Moonlighting Memories from Chris Salvatore.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hi, Chris.
I feel like I'm
Hey, Chris.
hi everybody. It's nice to see you. And it's weird
Hi,
because
Chris.
I feel like I'm following all these great acts and sort of at the end. But yeah, I have a lot of memories. I think I watched the whole thing. I watched from the first episode to the last episode. The reruns in between, the summer reruns. I didn't watch it the 2 summers that they didn't rerun in 88 and 89. Moonlighting was for me very special, is magical in a bad time of my life. Lunar eclipse, the very end, and I started thinking about it when we were talking about it throughout the show, or throughout what we're doing tonight, was such a kick in the teeth and was the first time like a fictional world really impacted me on a personal level. So it was so poignant and moving for me. I taped it, and one thing I think I did maybe that no one else did, I actually would tape it off the radio because where I was living in Philadelphia, they actually broadcast it on the radio as well. So I would record it and I would have the audio and I would listen to that on my way to school the next day. So I was that obsessive about it as a kid. And a lot of things that I've thought about since, my memories are really how it shaped me and impacted me. It gave me an education on music, on Motown, on popular music, on the impact of scoring. I think that's just such a beautiful aspect of the show that doesn't get enough attention. I just think from the general entertainment community, Cybill's work was a big thing for me. It connected me to other classic cinema and films that at 10 or 11, 12, I probably wouldn't have been watching Taxi Driver or The Last Picture Show, which I probably shouldn't have been watching. So yeah, it was really interesting stuff. And I got into the Howard Hawks films from the 30s and 40s because of Moonlighting. And I just really learned to tell stories from Moonlighting in a different way. I professionally write, not this type of writing or entertainment type of writing, but I've learned kind of just the craft of narratives from Moonlighting, and it just taught me so much. and has brought so much into my life, and many of the people on this has been the gift that it keeps giving. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely relatable as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Chris, you probably thought I didn't respond, but I did. I loved your story. Thank you so much. And it's true.
Oh, thank you.
It's taught people so many things, like the music and, you know, the references. I always mention the references in the episodes, but the dialogue is so fast. You miss it, you blink, you miss it, and it's, whoa, what just happened? And yeah, and that was a great story to explain what it actually, you know, taught you in life, and it you know, it made you aware of different things. So that was, yeah, I liked your story. Anyway, thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So Grace, before your closing speech, should we ask anybody else if they want to share any thoughts, memories, stories, anybody else, since we're here?
Yeah,
we're here,
great
guys.
idea.
We're all together.
Yep.
To get us all, I know, just giving anyone a chance.
That's annoying me.
Chance, if anyone wanted to say anything else, because Grace has a closing speech and I'm showing a video about all the kisses, and then we're done. But yeah, anyone?
From the UK, I was just wondering if you've heard about being shown in the UK at all. Have you heard anything about the show being shown?
I mean, we don't know, but it just started airing, I think, in Spain. It's started to air around the globe, so hopefully, slowly but surely, they're putting it everywhere where they can. I mean, the UK, you think, would be one of the next places.
First ones.
Yeah, one of the first ones to get it, right?
So popular here. Yeah, it was so popular here.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a lot of friends.
Hopefully,
watched it when it aired.
Because I talk about it a lot to my friends, and quite a few of them watched it, but a lot of people haven't seen it, especially younger people, and it's just so sad that that they can't see it. So just keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, you can't see it in Australia. I've got Disney Plus, but we can't get Hulu. And I've even recently purchased a VPN, so now I can watch Moonlighting on Tubi with the freaking ads. But that's the only way I can watch it. I have to sort of, convert my VPN to the United States, and then
so you have to do that into a computer, don't you? You have to put that into a computer
or on the
watch
TV.
it like that,
you put the VPN on the TV and on all your devices.
Yeah,
and that's the only way I could watch it, because it's just, I don't know what there's obviously copyright or rights.
Legal
Somebody's got
problems,
rights and expenses or something, advertising, and eventually they will do it. But I mean, it's just silly bringing it out. I know most of the viewers would be in the States. I understand that. It's like our podcast. Most of you are in the States, even though we get a lot of you in Europe as well. But
it was phenomenally popular in the UK.
Yeah,
it's so popular. I mean, and when I talk about it now to people at work or people of my sort of age group, not one person has ever said, I didn't like that show. So if you're talking about St. Elsewhere, or I don't know, Starsky and Hutch, or whatever you might be talking about, there's always going to be someone that goes, oh yeah, that was a load of rubbish. Everybody loves it, and people, they sort of go, oh my God, I'd forgotten all about that. Wasn't that a fantastic show? And I've never had one person say they don't like it, which has amazed me, really. So
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe it was a question for Glenn. He might know about distribution. But thank God I've got my DVD set, so I'm happy with that.
Yes,
but when we're researching for the episodes, I can't keep rewinding. I'm wrecking my DVD, So I thought, no, you know what? I'm just going to get a VPN and make out I'm in San Francisco and watch Tubi while it's on there anyway.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I worked
Wendy.
in media rights for like 25 years for Warner Media. And I suspect that it has to do with music clearance, because that's done by region. I have a friend who's an attorney at Disney. He doesn't really work in that area, and hasn't really had any involvement with moonlighting clearances. But I reached out to him, and he was going to try to do some digging for me. I need to follow back up with him. But yeah, it's probably a great question for Glenn because he may know more than any of the rest of us do. But I suspect it's some
Yeah.
sort of clearance.
Yeah.
It's taking him so long.
Music
isn't
always
it?
gets
So it's
you.
Oh, music. Yeah, there's always dramas with that. And there's legal things in different countries, and God knows it's just the mind reels, as David says.
What's
there's so
shame is
many.
that most young people know Bruce Willis. No, hardly anybody knows Cybill Shepherd, but they all say, "Oh yeah, Bruce Willis, the action man, all that." And I think, oh God, it's so frustrating because they don't know what he can do. Yeah, sad. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Well, yeah, hopefully soon. And yeah, if we find out anything, we'll keep you posted for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Wendy. Anyone else? Anyone else have a moonlighting story? Anything they want to say or share before we just move on? And yeah. Was it Russell? Did I say
Hey, so yeah, nice to meet y'all, and thank y'all for putting this together. This was a good event.
Hello, Russell.
Hi. So I've been a fan since the pilot. So I watched watched it all on ABC when there were all the stories relating the stories about how yes, Tuesday nights you had to be in front of the TV because if not, it was definitely one that was talked about the next day. So had a chance to meet Curtis a couple of years ago at a convention. He was very nice and definitely very supportive. He was the one who told me that it was going to be coming out on Hulu to keep an eye out. This was like February of a few years ago. So I kept my eyes out on Hulu for that. So but thank y'all for doing this. It was a fun evening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
glad you enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for staying so long, guys, too. We weren't expecting that.
Yeah. And okay, if nobody else, Grace, do you want to do your closing speech? I'll play the last video and then we're done.
Yeah, I haven't got anything written or anything, but I just want to thank you all so much. You're just a wonderful community and you're great support to us and moonlighting in general. And we really appreciate you spending all 2 or 3 hours with us. And we're really happy how it's turned out. It was great how it honestly, that wasn't planned with the 5 of them talking at once. They all happened to be in at the same time. So we just let them talk. And that's what we do. So that was great. I hope you found it informative. I'm sorry if you asked a question and it didn't get answered. I apologize. I was trying to do that and something else at the same time. So I apologize if you didn't get your question answered, but we did try our best. And yeah, that's it really. So thank you for being here. Thanks to all the guests, and we've just had a ball, haven't we, Shauna?
Oh, yeah, it's been amazing.
And
more than we
also-
could dream.
Oh, sorry.
Really.
Go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's just more like we talked about this all week.
Yeah.
You never know with technology, of course, and everything else. And like, Cybill, gosh, I mean, she's amazing. She confirmed with us multiple times, and she was the most proactive about being here. But still, you don't know until the day of if she's going to be able to make it, So it's always like, that's why we didn't even announce that like Glenn or Cybill or anybody was coming early, because we were nervous that it might change,
Yeah.
So yeah, but they came and we knew, Glenn would talk, and yeah, Cybill was great, and Jeff and Ron, and God, it was great to have Melissa, and it was just so cool. Yeah, it was just like a Mooney's dream.
Yeah.
And yeah, we couldn't have envisioned it. But, yeah, we're so glad all you guys came and that we could all experience it.
Also,
together.
thank you to Danielle and Carolyn for helping us out today. They've been our little assistants in the background doing the bits and pieces that they do. Is Danielle still there? Where are you, Dan?
I know. You guys have helped so much.
I'm right here.
I can't see you. Oh, there you are.
Yes. They've really helped and supported.
You've lost your yellow napkin head.
I know.
I'd like to dish this
fall
very
off.
much, but now I have hat head under it and it's just ugly. But yeah, we're happy to help, and we're happy to be the Bert and Agnes to your Maddie and David for this event. So
You know what, Carolyn? You should have lost 1 dice. for the end of the event.
Yeah, these are stapled on here. They are not ever coming
I
off.
was gonna say, Carolyn, how long did it take you to make that sombrero with the dice? Like how long?
So my husband wore this as a Halloween costume. He went as Jose Cuervo, and so he had this is like the poncho, and then this, and then I just ordered these on Amazon and stapled them to the hat. So we had it.
You seriously, you won the costume outfit of the whole thing. Like I was so impressed when I saw you with your bandana. I told my husband about it. I was like, holy cow, this woman has gone above and beyond what we expected.
Yeah, my 19-year-old is home from spring break, and he took one look at me and is like, "What the hell, Mom?"
And the thing is, you can hear David's voice when you see you in the outfit.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And it's
hey Russell, where are you from? I hear a Southern accent.
Oh,
around Baton Rouge.
Oh, great! I'm from Atlanta, so.
Okay.
But I'm leaving for New York tomorrow.
Yes, we've got a big event on Monday, so that's
have fun in New York.
Yes.
If you want, join up at Part Your Culture, 6 p.m. Monday. And guys, stream the pilot.
Stream the pilot
Yes.
on Monday.
Monday, yes,
Carolyn,
Monday at 9 p.m.
I
our
need to
time.
stop your video, Carolyn. Okay, I'm going to play my last video, and then we are out. Okay, I'm sorry, Carolyn. I closed her video, but I didn't mean to.
So thank you, everyone. It's been
I'm
lovely
trying
meeting
to-
you. Now it's been lovely putting some faces to names that I see too.
Yep, that's true.
Thanks for organising it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
this
You
is the
guys
real
are the best.
highlight.
You did a great thing.
Oh, thank you.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their head. I'm riding in your car. You turn on the radio. You're pulling me close. I just say no. I say I don't like it, but you know I'm a liar. 'Cause when we kiss, ooh, fire.
never get low, you'd better let love depart. I know it's so, and yet I know I can't get you out of my heart. You made me leave my happy home. You took my love and now you've gone. Since I fell for you, such misery and pain. I guess I'll never be the same since I fell for you. Well, it's too bad, and it's too sad, but I'm in love with you. You love me, then you snub me, but what can I do? I'm still in love with you. Well, guess I'll never see the light. I get the blues most every night since I fell for you. Since I fell for you.